This episode of the Talking Dads is brought to you by Little Scholars Early Learning Center. Whether your family needs infant care, a preschool program, or before and after school care, Little Scholars' highly rated Step Up to Quality programs provide quality early childhood education at an affordable price. Visit www.littlescholars.net to get in contact with an enrollment specialist and schedule a tour of any of their 5 Lake County campuses. Here's the deal. Talking Dads fans are getting a little bonus right now. Mention that you heard about Little Scholars through our podcast when you tour and receive $25 off your registration fee.
All right. And I could definitely vouch for Little Scholars. I have a son that goes there. He loves it. He's happy every day to go to school. I got to say, it's a great place. Check it out. At least come take a tour.
Again, that's Little Scholars Early Learning Center, where children learn, play, and grow together.
In a world where moms continue to dominate parenting authority and a father's role is minimized in society, 2 dads take on the toughest parenting topics on a weekly basis, all while drinking bourbon. They are the Talking Dads.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Talking Dads. I am Steve. This is Ian, and this is episode number 23. Today we have a special guest, Jay Reichert. Thank you for coming.
No problem. Happy to be here.
This is awesome, man. This is a long time coming.
I know.
Yeah.
I was trying to get on early, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
That's all right. We're like seasoned now.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
so this is
like,
better this way.
yeah.
This is way better.
I waited till you got the following.
Yeah,
I came in.
yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get in here when you guys are doing better.
Get
Right.
it out there. That's cool.
Right.
So yeah, we've known you for, I don't know.
We'll
like
say it would probably be
junior high and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably.
There's probably
like,
it's probably been like 18 years.
yeah.
We were
it's
just
insane.
talking. We're 4 years away from our 20-year high school anniversary. Let that
insane.
sink in before we start.
That's insane.
Right.
I'll drink to that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of drinking,
Yeah.
what are we drinking?
All right, so we got 2 things here today. So Jay brought us a lovely double oak, Woodford Reserve double oak, which is one of my all-time faves. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
For our first pour, in honor of the Ohio State
That's right,
Buckeyes, I brought a bottle that I got in May. Ohio released a Buckeye State blend, special Woodford. It was a limited release and all that kind of stuff, and I stood in line for like 3 hours. So I kind of save it for fun
Special.
stuff.
Special
delicious.
occasions like tonight.
So it is really,
Really
good. It's a
good.
little
Yeah.
it's a little fruitier than most Woodfords. Some orange peel and stuff like that. But this is not a bourbon review. So so that's
won't
what
get
we're
into it.
drinking. Double dose of Woodford tonight, which I love.
Yes.
So yeah. So
And tonight, like every night, what are you going to start with here?
yeah, let's start. Jade, start with your dad profile. So
Yeah.
I know you're familiar with the show, but for those following along, tell us who you are. Tell us about your family life, and really anything else that is important before we get started.
Yeah. So from Cleveland, from Menor, obviously, but been in Columbus for the last 12 years, which is wild.
12 years.
Long time.
Yeah, my parents live there now. My brother lives there. My wife's whole family. So we don't get back to Cleveland much at all. So it's nice to have an excuse to get up here. My wife, Ilea, and I have been married for 8 years, and we have 3 kids. So Jaden is 9, Jude is 7, and our daughter, Winnie, is 3. And all of our kids have come from adoption. So Winnie, we just adopted about a little over a year ago. So we're right in the middle of the terrible 3s with her, and the experience of now having a girl going from 2 boys. So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we first started like talking, once we started doing the podcast stuff and everything, and you would message us a couple times, and I was like, dude, we got to get Jay on here. Like,
Yeah.
he's got a really cool story that I don't even fully know, so I'm really excited to dive into that.
That's what we're getting into tonight. It's awesome. So
Yeah, so it is different because I've been, listening to a lot of your guys' podcasts, and a lot of it is around kids that are younger, right? We skipped, like, all of our kids we adopted at 2.5 or later, so we just like skipped the infant stage, right? That 24/7
Sounds
diapers.
Awesome.
Let's wait till they get out of diapers and then
Yeah.
and then we'll
They're
grab
like, and
them.
then we'll
But-
start.
Right,
Hey,
right. So yeah,
That's awesome.
that's awesome.
So I guess my first question, which I think for me is the most interesting part of it, is why the choice to adopt?
yeah. It's
Because people do it for different reasons, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, when my wife and I were dating, we started getting serious, and she was like, if this is serious, and we're looking to get married, I need to know that you're on board to adopt. So she's a nurse practitioner, and she had done a medical mission trip to Haiti, where she was at an orphanage. I don't know exactly what she was doing, but she saw a couple kids like die while she was there, just from malnutrition, dehydration, things like that. So ever since that trip, it was something that was heavy on her heart, and so she brought that up, and I'm like, sure, yeah,
right.
yeah, I just want to marry you, like whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, adopt, yeah, that's fine. So that was kind of that conversation, and then once we got married and started talking about kids, I was pushing to have our own first, and she kind of wanted to adopt first, and I don't know why. There was some fear or some hesitation that I had. I don't know what it was, but I was just trying to kind of like push
To
it
adopt?
off. Yeah, to adopt. It was just something I thought, we'll get to it. Let's have our own first, and then we'll go from there. And then eventually it just kind of hit me. I don't know. I just had one of those moments, and I was like, why does it matter? Why does it matter how we have our first kid?
Absolutely.
So we decided, I think we had been married about a year, and we decided to start the process. And so we initially thought we were going to adopt from Ethiopia.
Okay.
We got signed up with an agency, got on that list. We were on that list for like a year and a half, and nothing was happening. There's just a lot of corruptness going on in that country, and kids weren't getting placed with families. So after a year and a half, our agency came to us and said, you can stay on this list, but we have no idea when you're going to get placed, or you can go to another country and start on the back of the list. So we've got this adoption going on, and then in the meantime, we have a family member who was going through some hard stuff, and her son needed a home. So we took him in, and that's my oldest son, Jaden. So we brought him in, which was amazing and awesome and scary. And so he was 2.5.
I was going to say, so he was 2.5.
So he's 2.5, and we bring him in. We had hung out with him, been around him maybe like 4 or 5 times ever. And we take him in, and maybe a year from when we took him in, we actually officially adopted
Gotcha.
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then we had already started this other adoption in China.
Okay.
That Ethiopia adoption turned into China, right? So we go over to that list, and eventually adopt my son Jude. So he came home when he was 4.5. So we had Jaden. Let's see, we had Jaden for like 3 years before we adopted Jude.
Okay.
Yep. And it was just a crazy experience. When we brought Jude home, Jaden went from being like the most well-behaved 6-year-old ever to all of a sudden he has this 4-year-old who's just like grabbing at all his things and wants all his things.
Yeah.
And throw on top of that, he doesn't speak English, so you can't really communicate with him. So it was just like Jaden started acting out for attention, and it was like really hard for managing Jaden, bringing Jude home, and getting acquainted with him and all that. So I was like, all right, we're done it too. Like this is all.
Well, there's so many layers to that though, because like think about like we have. I mean, your brother, like Mila, was how old when Mary was born? She was probably like
she was 6.
Yeah. So, but to be 6 years old and get a new sibling is one thing, because
It's been you for 6 years.
In your normal, I guess, situation, the sibling is a baby. So you get to grow up with that baby, and you like transition, and like you've been around that child, your sibling for a few years before they start taking your crap and
Exactly.
like, doing sibling stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
So
That's
gotta be tough.
That is
Like,
tough.
yeah,
for Jaden.
And I felt for Jaden because I was like, man, I I just felt for what he was going through and tried to be really sympathetic to that. But at the same time, Jude was coming home, and there was a lot of medical stuff that went with that. He had a lot of surgeries early on, and so he needed a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And Jaden did a great job as being a big brother, but he also was just like, kind of coping with those changes.
Yeah.
So my wife is an only child, and she wasn't a huge fan of being an only child. She wanted a big family,
Yeah.
and she'd adopt the world, like literally every kid. She just
Right.
Yeah.
come on in. I'm like,
Yeah.
So, but after that, I was like, man, this is a lot of work. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 is the right number.
Right. That's how I feel.
Maybe 2 is the right number.
So then
yeah.
you said also he didn't speak English too. So I
Yeah.
mean that's another thing. So then,
Yep.
man,
But-
I mean you're already teaching. I mean, well, he's how old? 2 and he was 3 at that time, or 2.5.
Jude.
Yeah,
when
Jude was 2.5.
He was 4. No,
He was 4.
He
when
was 4 and a
okay.
half.
And then
yeah.
okay.
So I guess
Jaden was 6,
we
right?
had Jaden for like 4 years. We had him
Okay.
for like 4 years. But yeah, Jude was 4 when we brought him home. But the crazy thing is, at that age, like people would ask, well, what are you doing to get him to learn English? And you don't have to do anything. You just talk to him.
Well, it's true because at that age they're already
Right.
kind of just taking everything in,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how a child's brain works.
Right.
Yeah.
That early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say it's the best time to teach a child a different language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, so like after Jude came home, about 3 months in, he started putting words together.
Yeah.
And by like 5 or 6 months, he was speaking pretty fluently.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So that's a really long-winded story to why to adopt.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I mean,
I guess it all goes back to, it was like my wife's thing, and I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be the best thing ever. So then I guess I'll just kind of finish
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So after we had the 2 of them, we were trying to figure out what we're doing. Are we going to have another? And we said, well, maybe now's the time to try having our own. And once we started doing that, we realized, well, we can't do it on our own. So we went through some fertility stuff, and we just kind of said, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. If it's not, we've got our 2 boys. Life's great. So we went through all the fertility stuff, and we couldn't get pregnant. And then my wife, I knew she wanted another one, but she didn't push it on me.
Yeah.
She kind of let me come to it on my own terms. And then I just kind of had one of those moments where I was like, it's not about you and your comfort level, but there's like another kid out there that's supposed to be in your family. And it just was one of those moments. So I came home and told my wife, and the next day we were on the phone with the agency, and a year later we brought my daughter home.
And so where did you adopt Winnie, you said?
Yep, Winnie. So Jude and Winnie are both from China.
Oh, so they're
Okay,
both from
okay.
China.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So when we went to pick Jude up, the whole family went. My wife, Jade.
I remember seeing a video, I think. It was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
really amazing.
Probably
Yeah.
coming
like
home
the
from
airport.
the airport.
Yeah, that was really
that,
cool.
That one got me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But so that trip, when we brought Jude home the first time, we all went over. But then when we brought Winnie home, I stayed home with the boys, and my wife went over with her aunt to China and brought Winnie home. So,
It's amazing.
yeah,
Cool. It's really cool. Like
we are at capacity. We are done. We are done. And it's funny because my buddy Tyler Corlett, who we all know, him and I have a bet. He's like, you are gonna have a 4th kid. And I was like, no, we're done.
Dude, I can't even
yeah.
fathom
So
4. I mean, I can't even fathom 3.
yeah, I know 3's hard to imagine right now.
Because my wife really, I mean, I would love it too, to have a daughter.
yeah,
But I can't even
yeah,
picture 3 at this point.
yeah.
Right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
My wife's really all about it right now, though.
it's funny because everyone that I was talking to as we were getting ready to bring Winnie home, like any dad of a girl, I would like talk to them, and they all had that kind of same message of like, it's different, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
different with a girl. And a couple of things that were told to me that just really stuck with me that I think ring true is, one guy told me, my son, that's like my boy. Like, that's my buddy, that's my boy, but my girl's got my heart.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And the same guy said, I'll kill anybody, no questions asked for her. And I'm like,
Right.
I kind of see that now.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's amazing how it's different and the same at the same time. Like it's like I remember when I found out that I was gonna have a girl, I was like So the selfish part of me was like, this is great. Like, we can be done. One of each. Like,
Yeah, you're all
family's
set,
complete. Boxes are checked. Like, we're solid. And then the other part of me was like, holy crap. Like I come from a family with 2 boys. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my mom was strong as all hell and still is, but like I never had a sister. I never had, you know what I mean? Like, I just never had to deal with any of that. And like, so it was scary. But it's amazing how differently I treat them, but then still the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah. I will say, so Jaden's 9, Jude's 7, Winnie's 3. So, you know, Winnie comes home, you have the whole girl dynamic, which is new to me, which I'm just loving it.
Yeah.
And just you're in that honeymoon stage, right? Like, she can't do anything wrong, which actually made me a better dad to Jaden and Jude.
The boys,
because they're in this stage of like attitude and oh man. Cheers to that.
Yeah, right.
Things to look forward to.
Right. But it made me a better dad to them because I'm thinking to myself, like, they can't see me just like doting over her and just like adoring her and then just like grilling them the whole time. So it has made me more conscious of that.
Well, I remember what we did when we, like, right after we brought Sloan home from the hospital, like, we made a conscious decision and we said, like, all right, we're going to like swap out and like go on Gibson dates, we called it, you know? And so we'd take him out to go do something cool, like every couple weeks or so, like that, where it was just him, whether it was just me and him or my wife and him, because you don't want them to see, you know, all the attention going away. Like,
And that could go with any child, though.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I mean, I think I remember telling you guys that, like, that's
for sure, because that's what we did. So, I mean, we did the same thing. And not only that, so, you know, with Ben's situation, like, he has a lot of attention because of what he went through. So, he has people bought him books and things like that, and like shirts that say like something about his scar. They call it his zipper because he's got that. So Sam always asks questions like, "How come Ben has a book about him in his room?"
Yeah,
you know, he's like, "Why do you read that book to him all the time?" And it's like,
like,
buddy, I'm like, I read this book to everybody. You know, it's
right.
And he'll be like, "I have a zipper too," and he'll like point at his chest. I'm like, "Oh, buddy." So we don't know, like, we don't want him to feel any type of jealousy,
right.
But it's already starting to,
which is crazy. You would never think that would be something.
No, and we try not, and
that you'd like even have to pay attention to,
exactly,
right? But it makes so much sense.
It does for sure. So Ben's at the age now where we've let him get away with a lot of stuff. He's 2 years old now, and he's kind of a dick sometimes, like any kid could be.
Right.
And I'm like, now he's in timeout all the time because because we're like the same thing, like you said with the older kids, or you're punishing them, they're the ones that are taking you're yelling at them all the time, and it's like, okay, I got to deal with this one too.
Right.
I can't let them get away with everything.
Yeah, I mean, three is definitely a game changer, at least for me. And
all right, wait, hold on, time out.
Okay, so
I've heard.
Yeah, this is what women say all the time.
Here we go. Yes, correct.
All the women say this.
Like,
I've never heard a
listen,
man
it gets
say this.
easier after 2. Like 3 is easier, and then 4 is a breeze. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
So
to me.
another thing that I've heard from multiple people, and I don't know if you've heard this, that you have to have an even number of kids.
Oh yeah.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
She used to say, because when we first started talking about kids, she's like, I want 4 kids.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like,
let's start with 1.
that was a lot. I was like, but yeah, she'll get over that. We'll have 1, and it'll be like, all right, fine. You know?
Right.
But, you know, so now she's unsure about number 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, listen, if you really want a 3rd kid, like, we'll have the conversation. Yeah, right. What I don't want to happen is like, well, we have to have an even number.
Yeah.
Because I have heard that before, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
So no.
I can't remember if my wife said it first, or I think someone at our church said it, but they were like, you have to have an even number, because if you go to an amusement park and you ride rides, someone's going to be left out. I'm like, wait.
Like, I'll be left out.
No, we'll bring a friend with us.
Right, exactly. And I was like, that's the dumbest logic I've ever heard. We're basing the number of kids off of riding rides. But
yeah, that's it.
But I've heard like 5 other people have similar thoughts around having to have an even number of kids. And
yeah, no.
well, I hope I don't lose that bet of having a 4th kid and have to pay that, because I'm
Is it a big
I'm
bet?
good with 3. It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. I got you. Well, I know Tyler, so.
Right.
Yeah, so that's I can't even imagine.
But going back to like being the game changer, it's just, I thought I was a patient person. it tests your patience, man. So in the mornings, so my wife's a nurse practitioner. She has to be to the hospital early. So I do Monday through Thursday when she's working, I do all the drop off and trying to get the kids out of the house. And it's like Monday, I'm like dad of the year. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, still pretty good. Wednesday comes around, I start getting kind of short with them. And by Thursday, I'm just like done.
Just like throwing them in the car. You're somewhat secure. It's probably fine. You're throwing like snacks at
Throwing
them.
lunches at them.
Right. So yeah, it's
That's dude. I get
It's
it.
fun,
I
though.
mean, I can't imagine because two's tough. And
well, but honestly, so I have friends that are having their first one now, and honestly, I like thinking back on having your first. I honestly, whether it's 1 or 3, it's still crazy and hectic.
Sure.
It's just in a different way,
Yeah.
right? Because everything's new to you, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
It's just chaos no
it's
matter
just
what.
different.
Yeah, it's just different. What we always say is like it's amazing how you like as adults our capacity to learn a new situation or skill and then dump it so that you can learn something else, and then you have to go back to it and like relearn it once the second one comes
Right.
along.
All the stuff
Yeah.
you forget about and
Yeah.
do it all over again.
Right.
And then like you said, it's just different. So it's all hard. It's all
Yeah.
difficult. It's all stressful. Tests your marriage and your own patience and everything. You
Everything.
know what I mean?
Right,
And, but
right.
but I think if you're doing it right and you're having the good communication and everything else, then it really makes everything else stronger.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I love about
100%.
being a dad is like
Yeah.
it's made us just
Yeah.
so much better. Just like my wife and I together,
Yep.
and then like as a family.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be a team, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and that's-
like,
it's the only way
And
to
you
do
work,
it.
and you have to.
Right.
I can't imagine doing that on my own.
Oh,
Because it works out. We're being a team player and
Right.
doing everything you're supposed to do, and it works. And you
Yeah.
make it work.
yeah.
And we always say whatever works best for you, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And you just do it, and it makes us stronger. The relationship stronger.
Well, I just think
And I
about
think it's
like,
just amazing.
I think about sometimes like where Chelsea and I have gotten in like arguments over something, and like we don't like to like have any kind of fights around the kids or anything like
Yeah.
that. So we'll just like go about our business and like just kind of like visually communicate. Like, all right, I got this one, you got that one, and
Right.
like it sucks. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so much worse.
But at the same time, though, it kind of helps you to forget that you guys were
you
fighting
do,
about
like,
something.
so
So you're like,
quickly.
and then it's just like, okay, well, that was stupid.
Yep,
Right.
so
So
quickly.
then it's
Realize
over
how
with, and
small
So
it
quickly.
is.
fizzles out, and then you're on to whatever else. So
Right,
Yeah.
right.
it does help.
Yeah.
It's funny. The one thing I was thinking about, I don't know why, but like I remember when we first got Jaden. So we one kid, new to the parenting thing. It was very much like, all right, I'm gonna do my portion, so then I have some like guilt-free time because I did my portion, right? And now it's her turn to do her. That does not work.
No. No.
And actually,
No, it doesn't.
I remember, I think it was Tyler Cortellesi's wedding. His dad was giving a speech, and it's so true. He said, you know, people talk about marriage being 50-50. He said, you know, it's not always 50-50. And there's so many times when someone can only give 20 and you've got to give 80. And
Right.
there's so much truth to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know,
but yeah.
100% there is.
And you see it all the time. I mean, just for anything.
Who said it?
Right.
It's one of our episodes. I think it was Jack Tierney. One of his like words of wisdom was, "Do everything you can and expect nothing." Mm-hmm. Oh shoot! I wish I could say it verbatim because it was amazing.
It was phenomenal.
Do you remember what
Yeah,
I'm talking about?
yes.
Though it was like so. Like he was saying, like you know, he does
I can't remember
as
how he said
many
it.
of the bedtimes as he can,
Right.
and like without question,
Expectation
without
of anything,
expectation of
yeah.
anything in return or any kind of time off. Like I got my stuff done, so it's on you. Like, and it's so true because it just makes everyone happier.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Because like
It's
I find-
true, but it's not always easy.
It's
No,
so
it's not
difficult.
easy.
Like,
No.
Because
It's
in
so
your head,
difficult.
you're like, wait, I've done all
Exactly,
these
'cause
things
you-
today. With
Because I'll come home from work and there'll be like a day that Liz had off. So like they've been out doing something and I come home and the house is a fucking disaster. Like I come home and I'm like,
to put it nicely.
I'm like,
right,
oh my
right.
gosh. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So I start cleaning and I'll just
Yeah.
take care of it. And not because she expects me to,
Right,
but just because I'm going to help
right.
right.
her out. And
get
so I
it
can get it
done,
all
yeah.
done.
Yeah,
Yep.
Then we can enjoy ourselves. You know, so but in the house is always going to be a disaster.
Right.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
kids.
matter. But it's just when you get home, sometimes it's like, son of a bitch.
Oh, I know. I know.
But I mean, like I always say this, like my house is clean from 9 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning.
Yep.
And then after that,
Yep.
it's a free for all.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I remember Jack saying that, and it just making me feel like, oh God.
I know, right? I know.
It was when he said
That's
it too.
so
It's
true, but like, God, that makes me feel like a piece of shit right now.
That is one of the reasons I love doing this, though, because I remember taking like a hard look at myself and like, because I've been in that situation before where I was like, well, Sloane's doing her like, I'm not sleeping thing, right? Transitioning to her big girl bed and everything else like that, and I'm like, all right, I did Sloane tonight, so and then Gibson's still just like sitting up, and I'm like looking at her, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll do Gibbs too, and like I shouldn't feel like that, you know what I mean? Like, because it's easy, and at the end of the day, you get to go spend some time with your kid and like read him some stories, and
people tell you this all the time. It's like, make sure you take this time to just like take it all in, because this time is not going to be here for long, and it's like you are always looking for what's next. You're like, okay, I can't wait to get these guys to bed so I can relax.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm not going to be able to sit here and have him enjoying me sitting next to him, reading him a book, asking me to lay with him.
Yeah.
Like, that's not always going to be there. So it's like, to sit there and just like take in that, those moments, because like we were saying, we're 4 years away from our 20-year anniversary reunion.
If we keep saying that, it's going to get
so it's like, you think about how fast that went.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
crazy.
So it's like that, and they're gonna be like slamming the door in your face, telling you that they hate you, and teenagers and all that fun stuff.
Well, going back to the 50-50 thing or whatever is like, I always try and remind myself too that like my wife does so freaking.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the thing that once I realized. So no matter how many kids you have, there's so much crap that needs to be done that you feel like you're doing everything. And you're doing a lot, but the other person's doing everything. And it took me a while to figure that out, because in my head, from when we get up until when I go to bed, it doesn't stop. Right. But it doesn't stop for them either.
Right.
And
it's the same both sides.
That. Right.
Just do your part.
For as many times as you think that you're doing more, like they think the same thing. So just like get the thought out of your head, and
you can't think of it like that. Right. As easy as it is to do that, you can't think like that.
Yep.
It's got to be a team, like we said.
Yeah.
And that's what my wife always tells me. She's like, we're a good team. I'm like, yeah. I mean, you said you've been through some stuff.
Yep.
With your middle son. So it's like,
Jude.
It's crazy how that, with a marriage, what that does to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it tests you a lot because you're going through a lot of shit, and it's like, but it makes you stronger at the same time.
Yeah.
In the moment, it's like,
well, I know, from my perspective, I watched that with you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
and
not that you guys didn't have a strong relationship before, but like, I remember like seeing like the schedules that you guys did, to, like going back and forth through the hospital and everything else, and like I was just like, dude, you guys are fucking awesome. Like, it's amazing.
Like, in like the public eye, like we were very calm about it, but like we had I had my breakdown moments. Like anybody, you know what I mean? Like I never show that in front of anybody, but like we together got through that with our son at the same time. With Sam at the same time being home, so it was just. But
so how old was Sam when that was going on?
Sam was. Two. He was not even 2 yet.
No, he was like 18 months.
Yeah, 21 months. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So it was like we were running back and forth, and I still would work.
Yeah.
I had the option to not go into work, but I still did. So I go like at 5:30 in the morning, and I would leave early afternoon, go back to the hospital. Then I go spend time with Sam.
Yeah.
Then go back to the hospital. Yeah. Sleep there some nights, and then come back, go to work, and then so I was just like back and forth, and it was. And then you feel bad because you're leaving your son, leaving Sam out of you feel like he's left out and he didn't remember anything.
That's a lot to manage.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But hey, we did it. And we had a lot of family and friends that were there with us. So it was like, it made, and it's not easy, but it made it easier. So, but like going back to what we were talking about, that's the team. That's what you do with your wife, and you make it all work out. And it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah. Even back to when we just had Jaden. So just had one, like, I remember, I don't know what it was, but I remember sending out a text to like 8 or 9 people, like all the family. And it's like, it really does take a village, whether it's one kid or 10. Yeah. Like it takes a village to raise a kid, especially if you got, parents that are both working and juggling schedules. Like luckily my parents live 4 miles down the road, and my mother-in-law lives with us. So we've got a lot of support. And I still feel like we're just like treading water sometimes.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we're blessed in the same way, because I have a lot of family around us. Like my dad, my mom, and my brothers. Like, we've had Ian and Like when Ben was in the
Yeah,
hospital,
yeah.
Ian and Chelsea watched Sam. So like to have that around you, it's amazing. And we talked about this in our last podcast. Imagine being somewhere where you don't have your family around.
Yeah.
Like Ian's parents live out of town.
Yeah.
Right.
Chelsea's got a huge family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Chelsea's
it's-
got a huge family. My
Where's
mom
Chelsea
comes
from?
in. So, what's that?
Where's Chelsea from?
She
Kirtland.
Kirtland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Menor,
cool.
Kirtland, they move a lot.
Yeah,
Like, which
okay.
is very stressful for me because Chelsea always
Yeah.
wants to move because she thinks that's normal.
Yeah.
It's funny too because she says it too. She's like, I want to be
the
with like for
support
fourth
system
house.
we have here.
Right, exactly. And she doesn't want to move far. She just
Right.
wants to move like two
It's like
streets
move.
over.
They want to
Oh,
move around
okay.
Lake County.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
So from Menor to Kirtland to Concord.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
But like
Okay.
my mom flies in all the time because
Yeah.
she's still active within the business and
Right.
everything like that. And so she comes in probably like 5 times a year, something like
Yeah.
that. And so it's nice. So she'll spend a week here and there. And when she's home, like she does so much for us. And
Yeah.
it's a nice little bit of relief, I guess. And the kids
absolutely.
love it. And they've been able to, through the magic of, technology, they're still like really close
Right.
with
Yeah.
my parents, which I love.
So you see 'em-
Because
yeah,
I remember
on
being like
FaceTime.
worried about that. Like
Yeah.
my parents live across the country. Like I
Yeah.
want my kids to hang out. You know what I mean? And
And then when they come here, it's like it's not like they're strangers.
my kids FaceTime
like they
my
know-
dad all the
Yeah,
time.
so-
Right. And there's something to be said. Obviously, you like them around as much as they can, but when they are a little bit further away, it's so special,
It
right?
is,
When they
yeah.
come down, because I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
growing up, like my grandparents were like I think like 2.5 and 3 hours away, and it was like a big deal when we took trips, and it was
Right.
like something you looked forward to, you got
Yeah.
so excited about. So I mean that's kind of
Yeah,
cool too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's fun. So I've been fortunate enough that like, so 2 years in a row, I took a trip where it was just me and Gibbs, and we went out to Arizona to see them. So
Yeah.
do the whole flying thing with just him, and he's always been great on a plane. So
That's awesome.
thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's always an
Because you've seen the
adventure.
flip side of that.
right.
Right.
Well, your kid's coming from China. I can even
So
that's
so I only did the one of the China trips, but my parents were awesome, and when we brought Jude home, they upgraded us to business class or first
nice.
class, which for an international flight, it was like
amazing.
the best thing. I didn't want to get off the
I've
plane.
seen pictures.
I didn't want to go. You have like your own little cubicle, and I'm like laid back watching whatever movie.
Yeah.
After 16 hours, they're like, "Oh, we landed." I'm like, "Can I just stay here a little longer?"
that
Like,
was
this is
amazing.
I'm pretty comfortable.
so we went to China for 16 days, did some sightseeing, did all that stuff. And the one thing that Jaden, our oldest, talks about is the plane ride. Because he got his own cube and it had like a video game system in there
yeah.
and movies.
I
And
can imagine, like-
he was
Because he was what,
loving
6?
it. So gosh, I'm bad with all these. So
That's all right,
Jude
yeah.
came home when he was 4, so Jaden would have been like
6 or 7.
6, yeah.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh, he
yeah.
was
Imagine a
loving it.
6-year-old with like
All that.
16
Yeah,
hours
just
to just
loving
like
it.
hang out and play
Right.
video games, and that's amazing.
It's different and
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
But yeah, they did. And actually, Winnie coming home, I think so then we do first class for Jude, and then my wife going back to get Winnie. She's like, "We gotta do first class," and I'm like looking at the prices. I'm like, "That's a lot of money." But if you're going over to bring her home, you can do whatever the heck
Right.
you want.
Yeah.
So, and I think Winnie did fine. I think
That's
she
awesome.
She did fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I just thought of going back to your point about doing like the one-on-one dates.
Yeah.
So we were going through, just with Jaden and even Jude, just some acting out, right? So we were reading some books, and one of the things we read was about, they're acting out because they want attention because they're not getting that one-on-one time.
Yeah.
So we started doing this 10 minutes a day, right? Just at home, make like 10 minutes one-on-one time, make it special, and it really actually helped quite a bit. So Ilea and I would each take 10 minutes with the other one, like before bedtime. But as bad as it sounds, it's hard just to find 10 minutes for each kid where you're devoted. Because after running around and dinner and sports and getting them to bed,
Right.
like there were some nights where Ilea would be like, "All right, we're gonna do 10 minutes." I'm like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so much that good. So much good that comes from
Sure.
that when you can do it.
So like, what do you guys do for those 10 minutes?
We
Like,
would do so Jude just loves building. So like Legos or like Transformers or
Yeah.
stuff with that, or board games, card games. They're old enough where we can do that stuff
Right.
Yeah.
with them.
So is it like they get to choose? Or
Yeah, we usually let them
Yeah,
choose.
yeah.
It can't be anything with an electronic. And,
Right.
and we've kind of gotten away from this recently, but for a while we were pretty good at it. And And honestly, just saying, all right, this is your special time. Like just saying
Right.
that.
Making
you might not be doing anything
point,
different
yeah.
than you would probably do, but just saying like, hey, this is your special time.
Right.
They like it, and it actually really did help us.
That's cool.
And I was just thinking about that as you were talking about that, because we've kind of gotten away from it, and as the last couple of weeks, we might need to be going back.
Right.
To it.
Yeah. I just think it's like important that you only have your first kid once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like anyone after that, they're never going to have that. I don't want to call it a privilege, but like that situation, right?
Right.
Like they're never going to have that experience.
Yeah.
And so, if you can try and do some of that, like, and actually we've gotten away from doing our like, one-on-one dates a little bit. And so, but when I was, I took my son twice out to Phoenix, just me and him. And so this year I'm going to take my daughter.
Yeah.
And, so I'm pretty excited to go just with her and see how that works out. And
Right.
That's cool though. It's nice to do that though, to split that time up, to be like, okay, and I just do it like randomly. I'll be like, hey, I'm taking Sam to Lowe's. We're gonna go do
right.
just go hang out.
Yep.
Or vice versa. I'll take Ben. It's awesome. That's a good time, and it's also a lot more laid back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get to like have that experience.
Yeah, because you could actually spend the one-on-one time, and they're not in the cart hitting each other.
Right.
Right.
Well, today Gibbs actually took a nap. Like first time in forever that he's taken a nap at home on a weekend. But he
How old
was just
is this kid?
exhausted. He's 4.
Okay.
But for some reason, like he'll nap at school.
Yeah.
And they only get like 50 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that. But like he was out for a while. So like there was a point this afternoon where like me and Chelsea and Sloan were just hanging out. And we're like, this is
great.
amazing.
Yeah. This is
I want to have him like one kid again
Right.
for a few minutes.
2 of us with just one. This
I mean, it
is
was like a good
awesome.
solid like hour and a half where it was just like us. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's so.
should probably take advantage of this time to get something done. But like we're really.
I'm just gonna
enjoying this.
relax. I'm just gonna sit down and relax for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you pass me to
Yeah. I will say the one thing I love about your guys' podcast is probably every single podcast I've taken something away from it. And I remember, I think Steve, it was you who said you try to make those just trips to Lowe's or whatever, like special. Because I used to think, oh, I've got my mother-in-law lives with us. This is an advantage. I can go to the store by myself,
Yeah,
and I
so
would always go by myself.
go quicker.
Right. I
Right.
can get in and out. So like Ilea would be like, "Oh, you taking on the kids?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to the store. Why would I take
Yeah,
the kids?"
yeah.
And then like I remember you saying that, and then I started taking them, a little bit more, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And you get that one-on-one time, and you're getting stuff done.
Right.
But I was in the mindset for a while, like if I can go do something without them, it'll be so much easier. And that, I don't know.
Oh, and here's the thing.
But-
It's okay to say that it is easier.
Right.
Right?
Oh, for
Like,
sure, for sure.
Because
There's nothing wrong with it, and they could be said by mother could say the same. Anybody could
Yeah.
say the same thing. There's nothing.
There's
like you
no
said,
way
nothing
it's
wrong
not
with it.
easier
Yeah,
to go by yourself, right?
for sure.
But
those moments, like,
the benefits that end up coming out of it, and
Yeah.
and again, it's just having the conversation and doing like special time.
Yeah.
That means so much more to them than it means to you to get done 10 minutes quicker.
Right. Exactly.
So
One thing. So my oldest just this past summer was his first year of travel baseball.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
that's like a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like getting into the travel sports and everything. But we had so because he's the oldest, I feel like we think he's way more mature than he really is. He's a 9-year-old, right?
Right.
And he's still a little kid. But because he's the oldest and with our kids, I think Ilea and I forget sometimes when we think he's he's this like 16-year-old who can do everything we ask him to do. But so I got the opportunity. They do one out of town tournament. So we went to like the Dayton area and stayed in a hotel. It was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
just loved it. So it was just him and I that went. And there were like 3 moments throughout that trip that just reminded me that he's still a little kid. And I loved it. Like I just ate it up. But they also cracked me up. So he's got this stuffed dog. It's like this big. He's had it his whole life. It's Doggy, right?
Yeah.
Doggy.
Yep.
Doggy's been with him since day one. And we pull up to the hotel, and some of the other parents are pulling up. All the kids are getting out. We're getting our suitcases, and he didn't want to bring Doggy out in front of his friends. And I was like, "Buddy, you gonna bring Doggy out?" He's like, "Shut up." I'm saying, shut up, Dad, stop. I was like, and he made us go in and check in and then go back and get Doggy.
It's funny though. I mean,
Yeah. And then we get into the hotel room and it's 2 queen beds, and he made me sleep in the same bed because he wanted to cuddle and,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and snuggle
you
and
eat
all
that
that.
up, though,
right.
man.
Oh,
There's nothing
absolutely.
better than that.
So it was like, I needed that moment.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, we just get into the groove, and I'm like, Jaden, you're the oldest. Go, help us do this, And I forget he's still 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
still,
I catch myself doing that with mine, and they're 4 and 2. But I'll and I've tried to stop saying this, but I catch myself all the time. I'll tell Gibbs, I'm like, stop acting like a baby. Like that's what your sister does.
I know.
I'm like, that's such a shitty thing to say.
I say it
Like,
to Sam all the time too, and it's
he's
so
4.
bad. I know.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's going to have his moments.
But the worst
where-
part is I say that stuff to Sam all the time, and I don't even think about it till like an hour
yeah,
later. And I'm
that's
like,
the
I'm
thing.
such an like I should not be saying that
Yeah.
to him because then it
Yeah.
makes him feel bad too. So that's
Right.
what it really makes me feel like a piece of shit.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
But again, I think just on the positive end of that is like understanding it, even if it's later. I think is such a good thing to be self-aware about it.
Right.
It's for sure. So like Sam will do like he'll whine if something bad happens. I'm like
Oh, the whining.
the whining. It's like
I'd rather have a tantrum.
oh, I,
yeah,
seriously,
and
the
whine.
whining
100%.
makes me crazy. So I'm like,
I love how
yeah, I'm like, "Ugh." So I'm sitting there driving, and he'll drop something on the floor that he can't reach, and he's just like, nah, I can't, and he'll start freaking out. I'm like, Sam, I'm driving, and I'm like, listen, I will respond a lot better to you if you just simply say, Dad, I dropped it on the floor. Can you please pick it up for me?
Do you say it that calmly?
I do. I just.
I'm impressed.
In his head.
In my head, it's a lot more angry, but it's like I'm like telling him.
Yeah.
Then like so today we're driving to his house and he drops something. He goes, Dad. He goes, I dropped the doggy on the floor. He's like, can you please pick it up for me? I'm like, no problem. So I reach back if I could reach it. I grab it. I go, see, Sam, that's much better. And I'm like, I'm very proud of you. Good job.
Good job, man. That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I'm like, that actually stuck with him.
Yeah. Good job on you for
proud
like
dad moment right there.
yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. And then
Like,
so remember at his you weren't at the birthday party. Bad friend.
sad day.
Oh man.
Oh, I was at the Browns game.
Oh God, yeah, you went to the Browns game. Let's get my son's birthday.
I think I heard about you at the Browns game.
Which one?
I don't know which game it was. Sounds like it was a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it had to be a good time except for the loss. But anywho,
Yeah, right.
That's all.
so Sam dropped a. So it was. So, we're getting ready to sing "Happy Birthday" to Ben, and I knock over Sam's nerds,
Yeah.
and he's very, very particular. Like, he's very OCD. So like I'm picking him up and he's freaking out. I'm like, dude, I just picked all of them up. He's like, there's one in the crack in the patio. The nerd. And everybody's got their phones out, taking videos, and he's having a breakdown. I'm like, oh my God, you have to be fucking kidding me right now. So I'm embarrassed. I'm like sweating. So anyway, we have the same talk with him. Liz has a talk with him. She's like, just take a deep breath and just realize it's not a big deal that you dropped
Right.
something on the floor. So the same thing happened again on the way to daycare the other day. Liz told me she was so excited about this whole thing. He goes, hey Mom, I dropped something. He goes, I dropped them nerds on the floor. He's like, it's no big deal. I'm like, thank God.
It's awesome.
So he started to like take it in.
Right,
We're
he's
trying
learning.
to
That's awesome.
get these things
dude.
across to him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's because he was the first one, so we kind of spoiled him a little bit. So he
Right.
expects,
Oh.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
The first one for sure gets.
Yeah.
we're all guilty of that, right?
Yeah,
I feel like a piece
Well,
of shit a lot of times. I'm like,
grandparents,
oh
like-
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So,
Yeah.
I mean, especially with my wife's side of the family, he was the first and only grandchild.
Yeah,
So that's how Mila was too, my niece. Like, she got everything. We were like, for 7 years, no,
Yeah,
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
6 years, she was the only niece, grandchild in the family.
Yeah.
So she was like, we were all
Yeah.
just showering her with gifts and like the most
Right.
attention. And then all of a sudden, Sam came along.
Yeah.
Speaking of spoiling, that's like one thing I kind of struggle with is like you want to provide awesome experiences for your kids and give them things, that you can, but it's like a fine line of giving them all these things that you can give them and spoiling them. And like we're kind of on this like, just with with our 2 older boys of like, there's times where
It's
God,
so
they're
difficult.
spoiled brats.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think about all the time.
spoiled
Like,
brats.
these kids have,
And they're
Look at my
awesome,
house.
but they're spoiled.
they are. And I
Yeah.
think we're all guilty of it. And it's,
Right.
because I think of my childhood, I had a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but they have way more stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the amount of, okay, I say stuff, shit, pieces,
Right.
just little pieces of plastic
Right.
that have no purpose. And they're just in baskets in my basement. I'm like, Why do we? I'll go around and just throw them in a garbage bag.
There's nothing more satisfying than going through the playroom when they're not there and being like, boop, boop, boop.
Yeah,
and
well,
just
you know what the
throwing it
worst
all
part
away.
is Sam is so particular about things. He'll think of a toy that he hasn't played with or seen in a year, and he'll be like, "Where is blah blah blah?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Oh my god, I
I'm
threw that
so
away."
nervous. Like,
threw it away.
so today I cleaned out my garage, and
I noticed more toys in your toy room today.
yeah. So
Is that all from the garage?
that was from the garage. So typically when
You're
toys
on it.
get taken away for something, they end up in my garage.
Yeah.
And then, eventually when I clean out the garage, I'm like, all right, it's probably time you can have these back. It's been like 3 months.
Right.
Reintroduce
So,
them.
yeah, so I put them back in there, but there were some that I just got rid of. Like, for example, there was these 2 like foam swords that Chelsea's dad bought him, which is just such a bad idea. Like,
Yeah.
because he can't control them. Like, he's
Yeah.
so excited to have these things, and he would just like try and hit everything. He didn't hit us or anything like that, but he would hit all the furniture and everything,
Right.
and they're not going to hurt anything. But we're like, dude, this is not good. No.
Yeah.
And so I just got rid of them.
Yeah.
And I am dreading the next
When they notice.
when he notices, and he's like, "Where's my swords at?"
So does he do that though? So he does like
Oh,
think
yeah.
of this. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Same with you, Jay. Does
All the
your
time.
kids ever have anything like?
Honestly, we're pretty lucky where they don't. Like, I mean, they have they have their toys that they're fixated on at the time, and when they become fixated on those, they kind of forget about all the other
Right.
ones. So
Yeah.
if it's ones they haven't played with in a while, we're usually pretty good at throwing them away, and they have no idea. Speaking of birthday parties, birthday parties are great, right? They're fun. As a parent, they're exhausting, especially if you do like the kid's birthday and then the family, and it's like a
Yeah.
whole weekend thing.
Yeah.
But we have a couple friends that are notorious for buying toys that, like, for Jaden's 9th birthday, I think they got him something that was for 14 years old and up, and like,
Right,
and like. I always kind of dread that moment where after all the gifts are opened and then you have to put everything together and there's just crap everywhere.
It's
and
a nightmare.
oh yeah, and the place is just a disaster.
I can't even imagine 3 kids on Christmas.
But Christmas is, I mean, I guess Christmas.
There's something about Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas just has that like feel, right? Where it's just like great time
Yeah.
and the same for birthdays. I guess I don't know. Something about Christmas is a little different. I feel like.
This is a great time. I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
just all that crap
It's a
everywhere,
lot.
and then you got to put it together, and everything needs batteries, and
Yep.
you got to unscrew everything and put it together.
Yep.
I'll say, and I'm sure we all do this, but I'll give my dad credit because he always told for me, is he would put every single thing, and I think we all do this, right? We put everything together before.
Yeah,
like the big
I
things.
don't do
The
that.
big
I
stuff
need
I
to start
do.
doing that.
So the big
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like you
Yeah.
put all the pieces
yeah.
together, get all the batteries and everything put together
Yeah,
before they get into it and or open it.
Right.
And that way, you're not spending. You can watch them
Yeah.
do it and
It
have
was
like
like 2 years ago. This is when Gibbs was like super into cars, like the Pixar,
yeah.
So his one big gift that we got was this huge racetrack with batteries, and like this thing was giant, right? And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna put that together the night before, and it was like Christmas Eve. I think by the time we got them in bed and like got the house, because we were hosting Christmas, so like got the house cleaned up. I'm like, all right, Chelsea went to bed. Like we had everything else done. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put this thing together. It took me 3 hours, and it wasn't like putting the plastic together.
Stickers?
There was 6 pages of stickers.
stickers. Dude, the stickers are a nightmare.
Oh my!
That's what I had with Sam's. I
At
had
the
this.
end, you're just like,
Oh yeah!
Like, that's probably fine if I just get rid of these. It's
Right.
okay.
Oh my god! I just remember I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad. And then like I get to the end, and it's like, all right, decals. I'm like, oh.
The decals do, and then like you get like the first few are like perfect, and then you get the other ones are like
Yeah, they're like all
like
crooked.
crooked. There's like the
Right.
creases in them. You're like,
we had that same thing this year. So for my boys, my mother-in-law got like a 3-in-1. It was a foosball table, a pool
Oh, yeah.
table, and a ping pong table. And then for Winnie, she got like this kitchen set, right? So there were 4 of us. It was Ilea, her mom, and then Ilea's cousin and myself. So we were working on the 3-in-1 table, and Ilea and her mom were working on the kitchen set. So we come home from church, Christmas Eve. We were up till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what the thing about
But
that
it,
is,
it was kind of fun.
how
though.
fun
Yeah,
is
it
that?
is
Though?
fun. Yeah,
Isn't
it
it?
is
It's
fun.
so
You're
fun.
right.
Like
I remember I poured a drink. Like
Yeah, you're
and,
drinking
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all
Christmas
right.
ale,
Yeah,
whatever
right,
it is.
right.
Yeah.
So this year,
It is fun.
so that was 2 years ago. We were able to do that with Sam. last year was the day before Christmas Eve. Ben ended up having to go to the hospital. He had RSV. So this year, we got to find some wood.
On the floor? There you go.
I'm hoping to have a normal Christmas
Yeah, you
this
guys
year
have
where I'm at
rough
home.
Christmas times.
Christmas
2 years in a row, it's been like sick kids, and Ben was in the emergency room. He was in the PICU at UH at Rainbows for Christmas. So
Yeah.
this year I just want to be
Let's
like,
just get through
I just want to wake up with the 2 kids and have a normal
Yeah.
Christmas. So this year I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I told Liz, I'm like, we are, I don't know, putting vitamin C in everything.
Yeah.
Emergency in every drink. I'll just
Purell,
Go
pour-
get the
just pour it over-
elderberry.
We have the
vitamins.
elderberry. Liz had,
Yeah.
we ordered like 5 bottles already.
Yeah.
We're prepping.
We're already
so,
on those.
Yeah.
For this
So Ben's a
season.
little bit stronger now, so I don't think he'll get. I
Yeah,
shouldn't even say anything.
you're good.
Right.
So
right.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that night, like just being able to like set up
It's
the
so
toys
much
and like
fun.
Yeah.
set everything up and
Yeah.
shit, even Easter's fun,
there is
man. It's
something
like just
magical
Well,
about
wait,
it.
yeah, because last year Christmas, didn't you come over and we were setting up Sloane's car?
so it was before me, you, and Witterman.
Yeah.
So he had this car. It was like a Mercedes. We put it
one of,
together.
like, little-
But so it's for her to sit in, but you like so she could
it's got
drive
a
it, but
remote
it has the
control.
option though where you could control it.
Oh.
Sweet.
We made a great video too. Maybe we should post that.
We should.
I think I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
I feel like
Playing Riding Dirty in the background, and he just crashes it. Into
When
the
we had it like all like close up.
Oh,
on, like,
that's
the
what we made it look
Mercedes,
real.
and it looked real. Like,
so look, I had like,
then it
I'm, like,
zooms
going,
out.
yeah, and then it
it's like-
zooms out when we're like in my
Ian's just standing
basement.
there, like, put the tires on it. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
I think it was great. So so I mean, those types of things though. But
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, man, yeah, Christmas has the best feel.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
great. I can't wait.
Because like to watch them, to see their faces, like that's just the.
Right.
There's nothing better than that. I enjoyed that just with my niece, even like
Yep.
how much fun that was.
One thing I am jealous of is just how close you and all your guys' friends from
Yeah.
childhood are, and like that's awesome. Because in Columbus, I mean, I really just Tyler is like the one friend that I grew up with that lives in Columbus.
Right.
So we don't, we're not able to connect with everyone, but that's awesome to be able to like grow up with
It's
that.
pretty
and-
amazing. I mean, just the fact that like we all still hung out,
Right.
and then we all got married within 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we all had kids within, what is it, 7 months?
7
was our
months,
first
yeah.
kids?
That's
Like,
awesome.
Between
Between me, you, Raj, and Perry.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, because
And then
Colin's
Throw
a
like
little bit younger,
Meyer
but
in there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we don't get to see
which was
him
really
as
cool
much,
too.
but,
It's like we had a great support system too
Yeah.
with trying to figure it all out.
Right. I mean, yeah, it takes a lot to figure it out, right? Yeah. And when you got people to bounce it off of, and
Right.
you're like, oh, they're going through it too. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
That's half of it, right? It's
yeah,
just like
that's true.
You wanting that support to know I'm not the only one that's thinking these thoughts and thinking I'm struggling because it's hard, and you're like, oh, okay, they're going through it. It's normal.
That's
Yeah.
honestly how like this was born, because
Which is genius.
When we had the luxury of, hey, it's for a while we did, when we all had one kid, we did our Thursday nights where we rotated houses and we all got together on Thursday nights.
Yep, get
And,
pizza
like,
and just
we'd
hang
get
out with
pizza
kids
and hang
playing.
out with the kids, and like dads would hang out with the kids for a little while, and the moms got to hang out and have a drink and talk,
Yeah.
and then we would swap.
That's so
you know,
smart.
and we would
Yep.
go play pool or throw darts or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And once we started having second kids, like it was a lot harder to do, obviously. But
We kind of did something like that a couple weeks ago though.
yeah,
We were planning for a Disney trip,
yeah,
but it ended up just
Disney trip. That's a
we're going. Yeah, so we're
six
going-
parents and 7 kids.
oh the whole all you guys are
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's the way
we're
to
Yeah.
really excited. Like,
we keep thinking though, we're like, we were talking about this the other
you
night.
guys-
We're like, we're gonna like usually when the kids get together, like they'll have fun, and then it's like all of a sudden like everybody's getting
Right.
crazy, and it's like,
gonna have
but
5
we usually could
nights
just
of that.
leave.
Right.
Like, all right, this is getting a little crazy. We're gonna head home.
time to go.
Now it's gonna be like, we're in a house.
Yeah, so we got
so
a
you rent-
house.
okay.
Yeah, so instead of getting
gonna be
separate rooms,
chaos.
it's gonna
Oh,
be
it's
absolute
Absolutely,
chaos.
chaos.
we're gonna be like, bring a few bottles.
Yeah. So yeah, we did a couple weeks ago. We did the first we picked the house and booked the house.
When
and
you guys
then
going?
to, April.
The
Yeah.
busiest week of the year
Yeah.
for Disney, but you know,
Like spring
Why
break
not,
week,
right? If you're
and-
gonna make
yeah.
it crazy,
whatever. Like we'll have fun no matter what. Yeah, exactly. Just make it even crazier.
Yeah, so like today we did like our all right, which parks are we going to on which days?
Right.
And yeah. So,
So have you guys done an adults only vacation since you've had kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liz and I went to Vegas
Okay.
this year.
So we're going.
We have not.
So we're in end of January. There's 3 couples that are going, and it's gonna be no kids.
Oh,
And
all other couples too?
Yeah,
That's gonna be
there's 2
fun.
other my brother and his husband Justin, and then another couple that we hang out with a lot.
Yeah.
We're all going, but so the 2 boys are going to my parents, and then we're having one of Winnie's teachers come and like house sit and watch
nice.
her. So she'll just take her to daycare when she goes, and then come home. And
So this is your first.
like, I am so pumped for it.
That'll be amazing.
But I'm also a little worried.
Sure.
Because that's like right in the middle.
How long are you guys going?
We're going for a week.
Okay,
And
so-
we're going on like this. We fly into St. Thomas, and then we get on this like big catamaran, and they take you around to islands, and you stay on the boat and whatever. But I am a little worried. We're going to be on a boat.
Yeah,
It's
so
in
reception and
and like it's in the middle of cold season, and my one son Jude, like sometimes that can be pretty hard on him. So I'm like, ugh. But at the same time, like, who cares? My
You know
parents
what,
can
man?
figure it out.
They've done it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's what you got to remind yourself. So like
Yeah.
Liz and I, we went to Vegas for a week, and same thing. Like I'll give you some advice. It's like try not to even worry too
Right.
much. Try to
Right.
enjoy yourself because like that time is
Yeah.
like
Right.
you're not gonna have that time to do that again for a while. So it's like
Right.
just enjoy it. But at the same time, it's so funny. You're like, can't wait. This is gonna be awesome. And then you're like, we found ourselves like sitting in bed. Like the first night where they were like, oh, we're like looking at pictures of our kids. wonder what they're doing.
Right.
Maybe we should FaceTime my mom. It's like,
Right.
it's like, oh my God. I'm like, we just need to just enjoy ourselves. But
Yeah.
it's so funny. They were fine. They did great.
Yep.
They had an awesome time. And they didn't even care. Like when we got home, they're like,
Yeah.
whatever.
That sounds amazing.
this
That'll be fun.
Yeah, dude. So just enjoy it. Like, it's like, I mean, it's hard not to worry. But
Yeah.
my best advice is just to have fun and enjoy the whole vacation and just,
Yeah.
they'll be fine.
So when we were planning the vacation, it took a while to figure out where we're going to go because everyone's kind of got their own opinion on where they want to go.
Sure.
And we decided we were going to go to Punta Cana, and we were about to book it literally like the week that all
All
those
that stuff
stories
happens?
came out.
Yeah.
So then
Oh,
it's
man.
like, we're back to square one. We're not going to go to Punta
Maybe we
Cana.
shouldn't be going there,
Right.
yeah.
But I'm glad we didn't book. But
Yeah.
So then we started all over, and I'm looking forward to it. But it's just funny. 'cause
St.
we were-
Thomas, man.
Well, like
It's
I
gonna be
remember
awesome.
we had talked about doing the Disney thing when we all had one kid.
Yeah.
And like I think between I don't know, it was probably Chelsea got pregnant or whatever it was, like we just kept putting it off and because
Yeah.
it's hard to
Right.
get and
All
all
the
that kind of stuff
timing.
organized. And then finally this year, and it was actually funny. So Raj and Het were gonna go with their kids. So there was gonna be 8 adults and 9 kids.
Yeah.
And so Raj had a conference in Orlando. So we're like, oh, this is perfect. Like, that's when we're going to do it.
do it
So
all
we
around
all got
Raj.
ready to book. And then they're like, and then at the day that we were like, had our like get together scheduled to book the house, they're like, oh, by the way, we're not going to go anymore. So, because they're going to California because Hedda has a conference. So they're
Yeah.
doing that. And Hedda's got family out there. So,
Okay.
so it made sense, but we're like, wait a minute, we did this all because of like
Right.
this was the week
We
that
planned
worked
around
for
you
you
guys.
guys, and but it'll work out good. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll
be
be fine. It'll be fun.
So today was actually the first day both Ilea and I have been away from Winnie. So this is the first night we've been away from her.
And you guys have had her home for a year.
Yeah, for a little
Okay.
over a year. So there's been plenty of nights where one of us is away, or
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
do a lot is like we'll put her down because she goes down early. She goes down at like 7:45.
Yeah.
So we'll put her down, then we'll go out. My
Yeah, yeah.
mother-in-law's there, so we actually have way more of a social life now that my mother-in-law lives with us. But this is the first time we're actually away.
Yeah.
And we were driving down here, and like I didn't think anything of it. And I said to Ilea, I'm like, "Are you nervous?" And she was like, "Yeah, a little bit." And I was like, "She'll be fine." And I think you always like overthink it. And kids are give them more credit. Like, we need to give them more credit than we do. They're typically fine.
Well,
yeah.
so like my wife and I, we have not gone out. I mean, like a handful of times. Like,
Yeah.
and when we do, it's like the last time was we went to an Indians game, and we left in like the 6th inning or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. Because we actually had a babysitter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we didn't have like family wasn't available or whatever. And then the time before that was actually for so. By the way, we never actually mentioned where we're at. So this is the Collab by Notion.
Oh,
So
great place.
Sanjay he also has a nonprofit called Dare to Care International, and they provide aid to countries, and basically a lot focused on mothers that just have kids and provide basic life support stuff, right? And so
Awesome.
they have this big what's it called, the Gatsby Gala.
Gatsby Gala, yeah.
So we did that, and that was like the first time that for both of our kids were home with like somebody else. It was like
Yeah.
it was like
that was
insane.
that's the night you had the babysitter,
Yeah.
the random
Yeah,
babysitter.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was a fun night.
but yes, I mean we don't do it much.
Yeah.
Like I go, I'm always gone. I feel bad, but
Ian's out a lot.
I really.
Hey, good for you.
You know what? You know what? The wives next week are going to Austin.
Oh yeah, they are.
So,
Yeah, they're doing a girls trip. So
we're going to Austin.
I think that, going back to like the 50-50 thing, it's like if you've got an opportunity to go do something
Right.
with your friends, just go do it. And like, in the less you think like, all right, they went, now it's my turn, and just do it when you
Right.
can do it. Like,
Right.
You know what
it's good.
The best part is too is like I'll feel terrible if I do something like that, and vice versa. But she'll be like, "Hey, you need to go do something. Go have a
Right.
guys' night out."
Yeah.
And I'll say, I'll be like, "You need to go out with the girls. Go ahead. It's
Right.
fine because I don't care. If she wants a girls' night out, I do not care.
right.
Yep.
I'll get the kids to bed and hang out and just whatever, do what I
Right.
want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Just relax. And she doesn't mind either. So it's like goes back to being a team and just keeping everything even and not getting upset about stupid shit.
Right.
Because
Right.
at the same time, I mean, it's
Right.
like I feel bad about going out sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I
get
mean?
that.
Like,
especially like for me, like I don't have to travel a lot for work.
Yeah.
But like every once in a while, and there was like a stint there where I was gone, and I just feel bad. Like
Yeah,
I
you
come
do.
home,
I mean,
I'm like,
it's-
all right, like I've been gone for a while, like, and then some of my buddies were hanging out. I'm like, gosh, I've just been gone for a couple nights, multiple times, but
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, if you have the opportunity, and
I mean,
and it's not like in protest or something like there's a really big difference between
Yeah.
like, hey, this is going on, like, no, I really need you to stay home. Well, yeah, but I'm going.
Right.
Like that's way different.
Yeah.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean? So
Yep.
and like so much credit to my wife. Like I mean, between like the podcast stuff, because like,
Yeah.
and that's why we always try and do it late enough that like the kids are in bed, and like, because James Schleicher, one of his words of wisdom was, your family doesn't miss you when they're sleeping. Mm-hmm. So like, if you have projects or you have stuff that you want to do, like you're going to sacrifice your own sleep to do that kind of stuff. Like
Right.
don't do it, or don't make a habit of doing it while everyone's awake, and they're going to miss you. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's true. I mean, to do stuff like this, we
Oh,
wait till they're in bed.
Yeah.
right.
And Sam will be like, if he's awake, I'll read him a book before I leave, and he'll be like, "You gonna go do?" He's like, "You gonna go do Talking Daddy?" He calls it Talking Daddies.
That's awesome.
Like he sees the sticker, he's
Need
like,
to
"Is that the
change the
Talking
name.
Daddies?" I'm like, "Yeah, buddy."
Should have, yeah.
And he loves it. He
awesome.
thinks it's great. I see the stickers, and he loves it.
Yeah.
Well, not only is it like just a great podcast and great message that you're putting out there, it's genius. You guys
thank you.
just get together with people you like, drinking bourbon,
I
and
mean, how fun is it just to hang out like this right now?
Right,
And just
absolutely.
bullshit for a while,
right,
and it's like therapy at the
100%.
same time
It's
to be able
been
to.
so much more fulfilling than like
Yeah.
I think either of us ever thought. Like,
Yeah.
because like it started out like we would just hang out in my basement, and like
Have these conversations.
and like you think that we'd get together and like we would talk like sports and we would talk whatever, but like we just talk about like shit that's going on with our kids, and we're
Right.
like, we should talk about this more.
exactly, we'd
often.
have those
Like,
conversations, or we'd be like him on one couch and somebody else over the house, and we're on our phones,
right,
Right.
right,
and the TV's just on, the game's
Right.
on or something. It's like, this is way better because then the phones are off to the side,
Yeah.
and we could actually have a full conversation.
yeah,
yeah,
And not be
it-
distracted.
right,
it's amazing like the what we get out of it. You know what I mean? Like yes, there is certainly a goal that like some guy who finds out that he's going to be a dad or whatever, I hope they get value out of this, and this
sure.
somehow reaches them.
right,
Or
But
the other end,
selfishly, what we get out of it is what's so
We-
amazing about it.
the thing
Yeah.
is, like, we could take stuff from guests, like a dad hack from someone else, or just anything, and be like, "Shit, I never thought about that. I should try that."
You
right.
just get so much perspective.
You really
Yeah.
do, and you see what other people are doing, and be like, "Man, okay, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm doing a pretty good job," or like, "I'm not messing up," or "I should try to change this," or I mean, it's great, and You said you've learned a few things or taken some advice, and
it's funny. So speaking of that, so there's probably been, I don't know, 5 or 6 things that I can think of from the podcast that I was like, oh, that's really important, and that stuck with me. The one thing, so I tried your dad hack, which was like when your kid's having a tantrum to like snap them out of it, to get them just like, you know, do a push-up, do a jumping jack. My son looked at me like I was crazy. he was like,
who are you?
Yeah, I just like instantly went into like drill sergeant mode and like tried to like get him.
He's like, where the hell did that just come from?
He looked at me like I was nuts, and I just started cracking up. I'm like, this is awesome.
Like, so no, you're not going to do it.
Right.
Right,
So like anything
you still
else,
haven't touched the doorknob. Go.
You're right. I mean, that's the big one. So like anything else, like Steve was saying with not, you know, hey, calm down, use your words. Yeah. It's all reps. Right? Like no one's going to get it the first time. I think if you can just keep putting those reps out with your kids, like I think that's when it really starts to happen.
But when you see it happen,
it was good. It was good.
Try it again next time. Just be like, see,
we're like upstairs, and I'm trying to get him doing. He's just like, what are you doing?
He'll like walk over.
Who do you think you are?
He'll go like touch the doorknob and do like a push up. Be like, this is freaking weird, Dad. Yeah, he's like, okay, can I go back to the Legos now? I'm gonna go talk to Mom. This is getting weird.
It's so true.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of I just remember that one. I was like, no, that one didn't go as planned, but hey, try next time.
To each their own, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny though, because I've had some friends say you just need like a camera in your house, because talking about like using your words. So both with Jude and Winnie, like they came home, they didn't have English, they couldn't speak English, and it was like a big game of charades for like 5 or 6 months. So Winnie's 3 now, she was 2.5 when she came home, and Jude was 4.5, and it's like they're struggling with trying to just feel secure and, you know, have that understanding of what they're saying, but they don't speak English, and it was just like wild, like trying to understand what they're trying to communicate. And like you pick it up quicker, but like the first couple months when they came home, like you could put a camera in our house.
Right.
It would have been.
I'd imagine. So that's interesting though.
Very
like
difficult.
One of the first things that you led with tonight was that like you guys skipped like the baby stages. Yeah. And what I always say is like most of the baby stage frustration is communication. Because they can't tell you what's going on. And like in the beginning, there's like 4 things that they're trying to get you to do. Right. And so you can kind of figure it out pretty quickly. Right. But then once they get to like 1.5, that list of things is so much longer. And so that's when kids start fighting or they start doing some kind of a tantrum because they're trying to communicate and they can't.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
like you almost
knowing
like
what you want to
had
say,
that experience,
but no one understands you.
Right.
Well, because I think one of the podcasts I made the parallel to like, can you imagine if you were trying to say something and then all of a sudden that person just doesn't speak your language? Right. Like you kind of went through some of that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And that, you know, to your point of like, you know, not handling things the best and then thinking about it, like there's been so many times when that situation's popped up, they're trying to communicate something to me, they're having a tantrum, and at some point I just lose it. And then like the next like 3 hours, that's all I can think about. I'm like, I'm the worst dad. And actually, just recently I heard this and it made me feel a lot better. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. And I was like, all right, that made me feel a lot better, because like I'm definitely not perfect, and there's
we're all guilty of moments like that.
And I thought I was gonna have this dad thing down. I was like,
oh yeah, because it's so easy.
Like
you
in
know?
my head,
it's like
before we ever had kids, I was like, I got this.
It's gonna be great.
And I thought I was patient, because like everyone's like, oh, you're so laid back.
Oh.
But yeah, like there's been moments, and then when I heard that, it made me feel a lot better. Like, you don't have to be perfect.
That's a really good.
You just have to be present, and I was like, that makes me feel a lot better. There you go.
I mean, that really is good. I mean, that sums up fatherhood, I think, and probably to an extent motherhood too. But like, I think we as dads, as a general rule, think that like if you're going to put your mind to something, you're going to accept the challenge of something, that like you're going to do it. Like,
right.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel a lot of times. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right, and like I'm going to succeed at it. And if I mess up, That's okay. I'll learn from it and then I'll fix it. You know what I mean? And
but it's hard to see that in the moment.
But
though.
that's hard. You're right.
In the moment, it's like,
absolutely.
Why? And then you just like,
yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, shit, I should have just been a lot more calm about that. And it sucks.
Yeah.
But you make up for it though.
You do.
Right. And you know what? And I think I took advice from someone before. I can't remember who said it, but it's like, go talk to him and be like, hey, I'm sorry for, and I'm not sorry. I shouldn't have yelled.
Right.
You know, I just was frustrated with, just explain it to him. Don't apologize, but just be like, I shouldn't have yelled at you.
Right.
So, just talk to them. Talk it out so they're like, kind of understand it. It's tough with a 3-year-old.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
For them to take that in.
But you start doing that when they're 3, so that way when they're 9 or they're 17,
Well, I don't want them, you don't want them to sit there.
those conversations.
Yeah, you don't want them to sit there and be like, oh, I messed up, and have them have that type of stress on them to think like, for a little kid to sit there and be stressed about something like that. You don't want them to have any type of anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
And the amount of stuff that's out there now, like you hear about these kids with anxiety when they're little and stuff, and you start thinking about that in your head. You're like, I'm really messing this kid up.
Right. Yeah.
And that's scary
there's so much out there in this world that you how do you process all of this stuff that you see and you hear about and you read a blog about or whatever?
But there's things everywhere. It used to be like there's a book at a library that you could go check out, but now it's like
right.
This art you're on your Facebook and there's like all these different things, and everybody's parents now, so people are posting things. And you're like, how do you control a child? And you're like, does my kid have this problem?
Right.
Yeah. Does my child have anxiety? Is my child a sensitive child? Like you see all this stuff online, and you're like, so that makes you crazy too. And it's like, oh,
well, shit. I remember us talking
my kids
about
got
that
problems or something, and it's like, ugh.
And that's why one of our big things is like the proud dad moment, like making dads like sit there and think about, okay, what is something that you're super proud of your kids or yourself about? Because we do we will inherently think about things that like, oh, I could have done that better. Yeah. And that's okay because you want to be aware about it and you want to improve. But I think it's also super important to take a step back and think, what was amazing? What did I do really well? What did my kids do very well? They and like celebrate that, because that's easy to like gloss over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's easy to focus on that 10 to 20% of the times you screw up, and you forget about the 80% where you just crushed it.
Yeah.
That's so true.
You are crushing it. You know, I mean, you're keeping kids alive, and you're teaching them, and you're developing these tiny humans. You know, like it's amazing.
Yeah, like should we really be doing that?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and to go back to you said about like you should have had a camera in your house or whatever. Yeah. So that would actually be a terrible thing. Here's a reason why. Because you would go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And you'd feel way worse about yourself.
Yeah, you'd Monday morning quarterback.
So like my mom sent me a
right.
video for my son's birthday party, and Sam was gonna hit the piñata. Mm-hmm. And he hit the piñata. I put it on the ground, but he hit it, and and I didn't realize this at the time because there was so much chaos. There's 10 kids standing around us, and I'm trying to get them in a single file line, and I'm like, exactly, and I'm trying to protect myself because I'm holding it. I had nothing to hang it from, so I'm holding it from a stick, and these kids, I'm standing behind a basketball hoop to protect. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Dad's getting the balls.
You're on Barstool Sports.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a basketball hoop in front of me, like the little Tykes basketball hoop. I'm holding the stick over it.
And who's the guy that does charge or foul? You ever hear that?
No.
Oh, there's a guy on Twitter, and I can't remember who it is, but like, he takes like videos that aren't sports related, and says, "All right, was this a charge or foul?" It's hilarious.
They're great. You have to look that up. It's phenomenal.
I'll send it to you.
But so my mom sends me this video of this whole thing going on, and Sam was the first one to go, and he hits it, and he's looking at me, and he's trying to he's pointing because he put a hole in it, and he was very excited about it.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, okay, Sam, one more swing, and I just pushed him away. And I watched the video, and I looked at the look on his face when he was pointing at the hole, like he was excited, and he was like trying to show me, and I just kind of pushed him off, and I'm telling you, this whole week, I can't watch the video again because I'm like, I can't get the image out of my head of his face, and then just me being like, move on, who's up next, and that's when you don't want to see the videos. You do not want to see the replays because he doesn't remember that, but in my head, I'm like, man,
but again, give
that moment could have been
credit. Like we just got done talking about like how insane birthday parties are, and like when you're
and I was hosting, and you know me at a party, I want everything to be perfect, and I'm like cleaning while
make sure everyone's happy.
Exactly. So it's like
yeah.
And but I'm telling you that image in my head, I want to delete the video because I can't watch it again, and he doesn't care, but I'm like,
Right.
I can just see it right now, and I'm like, oh God, I lost sleep over it this week because of
Yeah.
that, man. So
Oh yeah, I get it.
you don't want the camera in your house,
Right. Yeah. The one thing that I was telling my mother-in-law this, like, because she lives with us and we have another adult in the house and she works from home, so she's always home. Like, it probably keeps me from having,
I
more
could see
of
that.
those moments, because like if it's just you and the kids and stuff's going crazy, you'll lose it. But when you have another adult there that you feel like is judging you, you're like less likely to do that. So I think just having her there makes me like.
I mean, there's even a
more
difference. Like if
cognizant of
I'm
it.
home alone with my kids and my wife's not home, like so every day I get them early, and so I'm with them for like an hour and a half or sometimes close to 2 hours before my wife gets home, and I'm definitely a different parent.
Yeah.
When she's not there, and then when she comes home, I'm so much more patient. I am
when she's not there or when she is there.
When she is there, I'm so
Okay.
much more patient. Like it's not like I lose my shit, but like I'll just like stop. I'll end whatever activities. I'm like, nope, you're done with this. Let's go.
Right.
Well, let's do something different. And then when she's there, I'm like, all right, I don't want to sound like a jerk.
Well, the other thing that's good about them being
that.
around there, yeah, exactly. And there's another thing to that is, if you see one another kind of getting to the point where you're like, you're like, I'm gonna flip out, or she's gonna flip out. It's
Tag
like,
in.
Right.
It's like, hey, take it easy.
Yeah.
Just take it easy. And she's like, okay, you're right, or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yep.
or what's funny was we have the cameras in the bedrooms that are monitors, but like we could tap into it from our phones.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'll be like reading a book or something, and I'm like look over at the camera, see if it's blinking,
Oh yeah.
to see if she's like checking, because she'll be coming home from work at like 9:30 at night, and I'll
Just
be
seeing what's going on.
yeah, I'm like, is she watching me right now? Because there's been times where like she'll like start talking through the camera.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm always being watched.
Right.
Oh yeah.
We have
Yeah.
the camera in our family room, like in the main room, just like a security
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
We can't tap into the monitors in the bedroom, but there's times like that where like she's like out and I'm like sitting on the couch with all this food in front of me. I'm like, I really hope she doesn't tap into the camera right now. Popcorn, whatever.
Yeah, sort of
Yeah,
pizza, got a drink. It's like kids are sleeping.
Right.
It's dad time.
Exactly.
Get the snacks out.
Right.
Oh,
Love a
man.
good snack.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? You know who loves snacks? The kids.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're kind of struggling, not struggling, but like my daughter. So in the morning, she can just be a lot. She just wants to be on you. She's just like a lot of attention. So when I get Jude up first, and then I get her up, and just to keep her busy, I just give her like some cereal in like a little bowl, let her run around and eat. But now she like literally opens her eyes and just starts saying snack, snack, snack. So and you don't want to turn her into someone that like only eats snacks and doesn't eat like breakfast or what. But it's like at the same time, I just want to get out of the house. And
Yeah,
if
it's like you
just
want to
snack,
get everything done.
right,
Like here's a cereal bar or something. Like
Yeah.
So we're she actually is a pretty good eater, but she just like is a huge snacker
snacks.
right now.
It's where it's
Like
at.
my
Like
son. My son doesn't eat.
Yeah.
Like I swear the kid doesn't eat. It's so frustrating. Like
That is tough.
like so he started junior kindergarten this year, which is it's not so he's done preschool.
Right.
So this is it's full day. They go to like gym class one day, and they go to art, and they go to Spanish and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a full day. And so like we pack his lunch, or my wife packs his lunch, and like she, bless her heart, tries so hard. I mean, it's
I brought
amazing.
I brought it up on one of the podcasts.
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
it, 'cause I saw
It's an amazing, and she's still going strong with it.
Is she
like,
really?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Like,
I was gonna ask how it's going.
she's got like these like
She's doubled down.
turkey and cheese roll-ups that are like put together with dinosaur toothpicks, and like she had dragon fruit in there the other day, and I'm like,
You can get that in the United States? I didn't even
can.
know you could.
She was
It's
putting
really good.
There was salmon in there. The
It's
one
really
day.
good.
Is she still cutting the cheese out too?
Oh yeah, cutting the cheese.
Wait,
and
there was salmon?
Yeah, he had salmon one day, and like
That's amazing.
The kid touches nothing.
Because I had to ask Chelsea. I'm
It
like,
is
tell
such
me
a
about this
waste.
lunch here. She's like, well, because it was sitting in the sink, and there's like a tray, and the thing was awesome. And I'm like, this is a really nice lunch. She's like,
Right.
yeah, but mind you, not one thing was touched. Like
Yeah.
the inside, it was like salmon, cheese, some type of fruit, and like all the cheese
She'll
was
do
cut up
like a
like
little
dinosaur
bowl of
shapes.
peanuts, and like and
Yep.
he just doesn't touch any of it. And I'm like,
Yep.
all right. And so I asked him the other day. I'm like, dude, are you like taking other kids' lunches? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, how are you
What are you
making it
eating?
throughout the day? Like, how?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he's hungry after school. And so I get him like a protein bar or something like that because he's always been he was little as a kid.
Yeah.
And so like we always had him on like what's that stuff? Like carne, like an Ensure, just to keep weight on him, you know. Right. And so I don't know, man. Like he just.
It's funny because
we've made the decision though, like we're just going to keep doing it, and like that's what everyone says is like
eventually, if he's hungry, he'll eat.
He will eventually eat it because he likes the food that we give him. Like if we're at home and he's hungry, he'll eat it. He just doesn't get hungry. I don't get it.
It's just like on his own time or something. I don't know. I can't figure out Sam's eating schedules the same way.
That's like I feel like eating and sleeping, right? Like if eating's difficult or sleeping's difficult, it's just like and honestly we've been pretty blessed with sleeping with all of our kids.
Yeah, we have too.
Eating, our kids eat fine. Jude needs to eat more. He's super skinny. Yeah. He needs to eat more. But they're all pretty fine. So we're really lucky with that. But I give my wife credit. Like Jaden was starting to get kind of picky, and she was like, "No, I'm not a short order cook. I'm not making different things for him. We'll put it in front of him, and if he eats it, he eats it." And you know, he pretty much eats anything and likes everything.
Yeah.
So there's been moments like that, whether it's eating or with potty training, where I'm like, "Why are we doing this?" And my wife's like, "No, we're sticking to it." And
you have to.
And always she's right, and like a week later they're through it and they're fine. Like I remember with
in
potty
the moment
training,
it's so tough.
Right. I remember with potty training, I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? And then I was like, we have to stop. And she's like, no. And then 2 days later, he
gets it.
Clicked and went with it. Right. But
see, so a potty training dad hack is to have a buddy come over and help you. So like this guy, dude. So when I was potty training Gibbs, like we did the method where you plan.
Interested right now.
It's good stuff.
So you plan for 3 days.
Yeah.
Where you don't leave the house.
Yeah.
So you don't let him wear a diaper, and so like he was just running around butt naked basically.
Can you imagine that? Just running around.
I mean, so he's just and then he had to go. Like,
life's good.
They don't even care.
Right.
Like, whatever. It's like
So when we were doing that, Sloan was like
little
new, right?
Yeah.
Like she was only a few months old, and I remember he did pretty good, like had like one accident throughout the house, but like kept going. And we're like, okay. And so this was like day 2 or maybe day 3. I don't know, whatever it was. And he was over with his kids. And I was like, hey, dude, I got to go put Sloan to bed. He's like, no, yeah, we're good. And like we had like lined my couch with like towels and stuff.
You should have seen it, man. It looked like there was towels on the couch, on the floor.
And like I'm upstairs like rocking Sloan. And then again, she was only a few months old, so like I had to rock her. Like it was a process to put her to bed.
45 minutes.
Right. And it turns out like Gibbs shit on the couch, and like Steve cleaned it up, and like it's just amazing.
It was.
Did you have kids at this time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were like.
So Sam and Ben, we were over the house. We were there. Well, Ben.
So it wasn't like the
Sloan
first
was new.
time
So Ben was like
I don't think
7
Ben was
weeks, 8 weeks after Sloan was born, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, because it was your.
He must have either been. He wouldn't have been still in the hospital.
Yeah.
Liz was still pregnant, so he wasn't born.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
So it was Sam and I probably.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense.
Yeah, but he shit on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, he grabbed me. He's like,
keep it for him, or did you clean it up?
I cleaned it up.
What a good friend.
Great guy.
Good friend.
So he comes down.
I don't see anything.
I smell something. I'm like, Gibson, did you go to the bathroom? He goes, yeah. And I look over. I'm like, oh, there's a little turd just sitting next to me. I'm like, oh, buddy. So yeah.
It's the way to do it now.
Oh man.
Hey, I'm happy to help. We all go through it. Like we said, it takes a village, right? So
So what's interesting though now is like, so Sloan is like ready.
Yeah.
And we have been putting it off for whatever reason.
Because you're dreading it?
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't want to do it.
Well, because we're so busy. Like,
that was
and
that's
such a terrible excuse.
No, but it's so true, though. Because like you said, you're like, you go pick 3 days on a weekend where you don't leave the house.
Yeah,
There's literally never been a
Right.
weekend that I've done that.
Right.
And we are always running.
Yeah.
Right.
Summertime, too, is
Yeah.
probably the worst time to schedule that.
Right.
Because, I mean, everybody's trying to jam everything in. You have something going on every weekend, and it's just.
But like
it's so
every
tough.
single morning, she'll get up and she goes, "I go potty," and like I'll take her and she'll go.
So she's
like
close.
she's
Yeah,
waking
she's
up
right
dry,
there ready.
and like she's ready to go.
Yeah.
And so.
No, we're not ready yet, though.
The worst
But I'm not
excuse,
ready.
though. So we were talking about it today, actually, or no, yesterday, and she goes, "Well, we have to wait a little bit." I'm like, why? Let's just do this. Like, we'll split whenever we can be home. Like, we'll just make sure that she stays home. She's like, well, and then like I went out to the front like porch, and we had a new delivery. We had Halloween themed diapers.
Oh,
So once these are gone, like we'll really get
right. Chelsea and her themed.
She loves a good diaper print.
Oh, she does, man.
That's awesome.
I hate diapers so much. Although you know what I do like? No, actually I don't. I was gonna say, if they do have to go to the bathroom in public, you're like, okay, if they pee, we got a few minutes, we could go.
Right.
We talked about this. Going into a public bathroom is just the worst.
But it's so quick though.
It is
like,
quick.
It's only
boom,
a
boom,
few
boom.
months where it's like you got to go like right now.
Yeah.
Like, and then eventually they figure
You know
out.
what the worst part is though? Is like when they're having fun though doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't realize they have to. They do know they have to go to the bathroom.
They know,
but
they don't
want to miss
go.
anything.
Yeah.
They have major
They get
FOMO.
FOMO. Yeah.
It's like, and then it's like photo finish every time. And if you don't get it out fast enough, Sam pees on himself and he loses his mind because then he's upset with himself. He's like, I'm so sorry, and he'll start apologizing. I'm like, buddy, it's okay. It was just an accident. Accidents happen.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
But his thing right now is he loves peeing outside.
Who doesn't?
I know. I'll be honest with you.
Golf course? I mean,
Sometimes,
come on.
dude, I've gotten home some nights. I just pee out next to the driveway.
I've got a great picture of Gibbs on a golf course. We took him golfing, and like it was Chelsea's dad, and we were like, he was just like playing on the cart, and
Yeah.
we're like, okay, like so I like hit, and he was getting ready, and I look over, and Gibbs is just
On his
next
own.
to
He
a
just,
tree on his own.
He just knew.
I'm like,
He just
dude,
knew.
all right.
That's awesome.
And the
That's
worst part
awesome.
about it was on like hole 9, where it's like right next to the clubhouse. I'm like, really?
Right.
It's the golf course. It's a
Yeah.
free for all.
Yeah.
So Jaden and Jude are doing soccer right now. So at the soccer fields, all they have is porta potties. And so the first time I took Winnie in there to go to the bathroom, it was so new to her. She was like, what is this? And she just wanted to touch everything.
Yeah.
And I'm
Especially
just
a
like,
porta potty, man.
no, stop. Don't do it. And she touched like the seat. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
like couldn't grab her hands fast enough.
It's
And
slow-mo.
Oh my God.
It's slow motion.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no.
right. Oh God. I will say
hate
the
a public
porta
bathroom.
potties were clean, but still,
great,
just
but
the
still.
idea. It's
Porta
Still.
potties, though, man. It's just got that
right.
feel to it.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's funny.
So Winnie took to going to the bathroom on her own like super quickly, like kind of out of nowhere. We weren't even thinking about it, and she just kind of started doing it. And I will say, daycare helped a lot with that.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was like one of the younger kids in her class, so she saw all the older kids doing
Yep.
it. And
That's I think, and also having siblings too.
Yeah,
kind of makes
for
sense.
sure.
Because Ben is the same way. He wants to go. He wants to use the toilet.
right.
He doesn't understand how it works. Like he's still wearing a
Right.
diaper, but he'll go and sit on the toilet and he'll say potty, and
Yeah.
we try. But
Right.
I'm like you said, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet.
Right.
I don't know.
I feel like it was like I remember with Gibbs, like I don't want to say we half-assed it, but like our first attempt with him, we basically half-assed it.
Yeah.
Like we tried.
We
and
had
then,
so many attempts
like
with Sam, man.
confused
It was
him because then
bad.
we put a diaper back on him,
Right.
and like, all right, we're not gonna do that again. So like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make the
You learn.
commitment when we do it, and because then when
Right.
we did it the second time around, after like 2.5 days, he was good.
Yeah. It is crazy how it clicks so quick. Whenever it does click.
Whenever
when it does
clicks,
click.
Right. I will say, I'm looking forward to the day when I can go to the bathroom without a kid, or
Oh
like,
yeah, with the little hands coming under
yeah,
the
or
door.
like in like, if they're awake, like I'm trying to
Yeah.
go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, leave me
But the thing is, like, I'll be at home and they don't care what I'm doing. I could be
and then, right.
doing laundry or
Right.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
in the other
They're-
room,
they're
and like
cool
the
with
moment
that.
they hear that bathroom door shut, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Liz is in the kitchen with them or whatever.
Right.
They're both at the door, pounding on the door. Daddy, let me in. What are you doing?
Right.
I'm like, dude, just give me a minute. I just like this is my quiet time.
Yeah, this is my mini vacation. For
this is
the
where
day.
this is where I can just think.
What
for a few
kills
minutes.
me is like what is so important. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So and like you'd think I'd learn to lock the door at this point, but I don't.
Yeah.
And so like my son will just stroll in and he's like, Dad, so I was thinking, and I was coming up with the new and like he likes to tell jokes. He's like, I was coming up with the new jokes. I'm gonna tell you this joke, you tell me if it was funny. And I'm like, I am taking a shit. Like I don't say that, but like
No, dude,
Not to mention that joke is not funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Kid jokes.
None
are
of
You're
those
like,
jokes.
you're like, guess what? It doesn't make sense. Rethink it. Get out of here.
do better.
Shut the door on your way out.
Right.
So Sam came in the bathroom last week. He goes, hey, can I come in? I'm like, just whatever. He comes in. He goes, oh, why does it smell like poop? I'm like, because I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like, dude. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
He just slams the door shut. I'm like, well, just leave me alone.
I will say, you know, you want that just time to yourself to take a shit. Yeah. But it is really cute when my daughter will like cheer for me because we cheer for her, right?
Yeah,
like, good job, Winnie. And like we'll get up, we'll flush the toilet, or like I'll get up, she'll be there, and she starts cheering for me. I'm like, that's actually awesome.
Oh yeah. I remember with Gibbs, we used to do we called it the potty dance, and so like
we adopted that because you guys we'd FaceTime.
Woo!
Yeah. Chelsea would be like, potty dance, and
we'd all go crazy, dance. And like
that's awesome.
But he used to do that like when he would walk in and be like, all right, fine, I guess I'm done, you know.
Right.
He'd be like, woo, woo. I'm like, all right, I kind of like that.
You know, we do that with my nieces too, though. They're younger than Sam. Mary and Penelope are going through potty training. Well, they're pretty good now. They're all set, but every time they go to the bathroom somewhere where we are, Sam will do the potty dance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's like, do the potty dance, and we'll start celebrating. My brothers are looking at me like,
these are weird.
Like, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it works.
But yeah, that's our thing.
It works,
okay?
man.
Right.
Positive
That's what we say.
That's right.
You know, celebrate small accomplishments.
Yeah.
Or big accomplishments even.
Yeah. Winnie sees her brothers, go to the bathroom, and there's times where she's like, I gotta go potty, and you can tell she wants to stand up. I'm
really?
like, no, you can't stand up and pee. Like,
I'm very interesting though, because like I haven't noticed that so far with Sloan, like because she is another one who just like creeps in the bathroom, and like we have stools in all of our bathrooms for like the sinks. Yeah. And a lot of times I'll be going and like she'll go in there and she'll just sit and she'll just like stare at me. I'm like, what?
What's another thing too is like when you're going like peeing.
Oh yeah, and she'll walk in.
The kids will walk in. Like Ben will like come in and be like look around. I'm like
trying to like body check her out of there.
No, I'm like dude, I'm like turning and I'm like peeing all over the seat. I'm like, dude, just get out of here for a minute. I'm just like, I don't know. I know it's no big deal. There's nothing to it. Like
you can't stop once you start. You can't stop once you start.
I'm uncomfortable no matter who.
Right.
So
it's not a team sport.
Right.
No,
right?
Yes.
Like
no.
But the problem is if I lock the door, Winnie will just bang.
Oh yeah.
So I just leave it
give it.
open.
It's like,
and if she comes in, whatever.
Right.
And then eventually they're like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
You just want to get into the door.
But for as much as Sloan has seen between me and Gibbs, like she she asks and she's just ready to sit, and like it's just very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because that was something I like worried about. Like I don't know how to teach a girl how to go. Like
Well, just always sit down.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's funny.
But then you gotta
things.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
like,
so
when they're older.
Oh, I know.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Well, Winnie's a little bit older, so I'll have to ask you how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll have the right answers, but it's funny. So like the thing that pops in my head with just raising kids in general, and then a girl is like just kids in general. And I think we were all kind of like the same experiences growing up, what we did, and I don't think we were bad by any means, but we experience. You do all the stuff you're supposed to do as a kid. You get in trouble, and I just think like if my kid does what I did, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you don't want to shelter them to the point where they like can't leave the house. But it's just like I wonder how I'm gonna handle that as a parent. The first time I hear that they are doing things they're not supposed to do, and how am I gonna handle that?
And you think, like your parents have told you, it's like you think we didn't know what you were doing,
Right.
Did this? I mean, they were doing the same thing, so it's like down the line. So it's like,
Well,
I guess we have to ask our parents for advice on that one. Because how did you handle knowing that we were doing some shit, hoping that we made the right decision?
Right.
But it's hard though because like I wonder because of like societal values and like technology and everything else, how like kids are just exposed to things much earlier. I think there's videos, there's whatever.
Right. I mean the stuff on
and like I just wonder how that's going to change like their development and like because like I look back at some of the stuff that we did and like look, it wasn't terrible,
right?
But it was probably in my head what was an appropriate age to be trying stupid shit,
right?
You know what I mean? Are they going to start doing that way earlier?
Well, here's the thing that scares me about all that stuff is like you see the stuff in the internet and you have access to everything, right? So people see like the fights and the terrible videos that are on YouTube, or on Facebook even. And it's like kind of taking away from people's value of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like not really caring about someone getting hurt.
Right.
Like rather
it like desensitizes them too.
Well, it becomes an entertainment value, which is terrible.
Which is terrifying.
And like, look, we played video games.
But you can
we played cops and robbers and all that other kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's like a little different, but like that I think was different because there wasn't like the entertainment value because now you're seeing people that get like famous for having these types of videos and like.
Well, you hear these stories about people like, oh, this person was seriously hurt, but people just stopped and took videos instead of helping or stopping the fight or stopping what was going on. Someone would rather sit there and take a video of it to put it onto social media to get
and then somebody else takes that video and does like commentary over it as like a comedy thing and like
it's a joke.
So like
everything, like you said, desensitized.
So now it's desensitized, right? And like I don't think there's anything you can do to stop that, but again, like we say, like raise good humans. So like if you can teach them put the values into your kids to understand, but like that's just a hard thing to do, right? Like that's terrifying to me.
Well, and even if because I feel like learning about your guys, how you guys grew up through just listening to the podcast and how I grew up. I mean, I think we had good values and we had good upbringings, but you still get put in those positions where it's super easy to make really bad decisions, right? And we all did
peer pressure.
We all did it, right? So then, no matter how hard you try to instill those values, they're still going to be put in scenarios where
you can make a mistake.
It's super easy, and I mean, even now as an adult, but especially as a kid, like you're not thinking about the consequences of your actions. You're thinking about immediate gratification, whatever it is, whether it's just like getting a laugh from a friend, or beyond that. You're not thinking of the consequences. So
that's tough. It's tough. It's scary.
It's scary,
Like the first time I get a call from someone that my kid did something they're not supposed to be doing, to that, whether it's drinking or whatever, I'm like, I just wonder how that's going to go down.
Yeah.
But
because like, since it hasn't happened yet, at least for me, I'd like to think that I would be calm and like trying to explain why and like, listen, I understand the situation. I've been there. However, like this is what you don't want to do, and you don't want to put yourself in the, But I don't know if I'll be like that when I get that phone call.
You think you're going to turn into Will?
You know what I mean? Right. Like I don't know. My dad.
His dad's name is Will, so his dad is like.
I love the podcast.
Dad. He's just instantly turned into his dad.
Yeah.
Meet me in the garage.
Right. Like, it's crazy to think because I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. I don't know. You don't know how you're going to react to anything.
So I had my first, like, I feel like big conversation.
What's this?
Sorry, I was trying to not interrupt.
We did, so this is awkward.
I had my first big conversation with Jaden. I feel like of all the life conversations, well, I shouldn't say big, but like, so Jaden's 9. Mm-hmm. And he was there were times where he was like humping things, right? Like you're getting to that age, right?
Right.
Yeah. Things feel good, whatever.
Yeah, you don't know, everything's like
and
different.
And he doesn't know what's going on. So he's just like doing it, and I was like, that's something you do in your room, whatever. You can't do that because we just like, so like she made a comment one time. He was like in the playroom. And then we look over, doing it again. She's like, Jay, go up in your room. She's like, Jay, go have a talk with your son. And I wasn't ready.
Right.
I don't know how you could be ready. I'm not ready for that talk. So I'm walking up the stairs, and I still have no clue what I'm going to say. And I get up into his bedroom, and like literally as I open my mouth for whatever was going to come out, I just start laughing. And like, so I pretend like I pretend like I'm doing something. And I go to the closet and pretend like I'm trying to like organize his clothes, and I gather myself. And then I had the conversation of like, dude, there's some things you can't do or whatever.
Right.
And it was just hilarious to me because I'm like, this is mind blowing that I'm about to go have this conversation.
Do you ever think that you're going to have that conversation?
No.
Like, you're going to have it, but you're like, this is happening.
Right
now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Jeez.
So and then. And I think about, like, you always hear about the birds and the bees talk. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, I didn't really have that talk with my
parents. I never had that talk with my parents.
My mom's saying was, she just always said this, and she's like, you fuck a girl, you fuck up your life. And I'm like, okay. Like, that's pretty direct. And pretty,
right.
Like, that was the extent of it.
Really?
Straight to the point.
That was all it was. And so I never really had that talk. But yeah, walking up to have that conversation with Jaden, which wasn't the birds and the bees, a little different.
Yeah,
but I was just like,
some things you don't do.
This is interesting.
Yeah, like I'm not prepared for
That's
this.
tough.
Right.
Like, I'm definitely not prepared for that. I have a hard enough time controlling myself. Like, how am I supposed to tell him how to control himself?
Exactly.
Well, that's another, like, speaking of being prepared. So my cousins that we're really close with on my mom's side, they all live in the Columbus area. They're all like in their 40s, all have kids, and super fun. We hang out with them all the time. I remember, I think it was before we didn't have any kids. I think we were talking about like when we want to have kids, and I was saying, oh, you know, I want to get, because we were renting at the time. I was like, oh, I want to get our house, want to get, and my one cousin was like, you're never gonna be prepared,
Right.
Like you're never gonna be prepared.
true.
So just do it.
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna feel prepared for whatever that thing is in life.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, if you think that you're prepared, you get kicked in the face.
Right.
Because guess what? You weren't prepared.
Right.
Like,
You're not, like you said, you're
you
never
can be better
prepared.
off than you were yesterday. But
Yeah.
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 That's true.
Yeah.
Where were we?
So we were talking.
That's a good question that you bring that up. Where were we? So my memory with 3 kids is gone.
Oh yeah,
Gone.
short-term memory gone.
I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
So with kids' schedules now, so Jaden's 9. He's involved in sports all year round, and Jude's starting to get involved in like some bad dad moments. Jaden's last basketball game of the year was a noon game, and I had it in our calendar as 2:00.
Oh.
So we showed up for the last game of the year. The game already happened. And then the other ones, luckily, have only been practices, but I've shown up either on the wrong day or the wrong time, and I'm just like, I'm trying to keep so many things straight that, like,
yeah.
And luckily, my wife just usually is like, all right, I'm taking this on, like, because she's way better at it. But, like, neither one of us are super organized. She's way better at it than I am. But, yeah, I feel like every day is a struggle just to get everyone where they need to go.
And it's so true though, because like my wife is in charge of the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we'll be trying to plan something like this, or like scheduling somebody. You know,
Yeah.
like, hey, are you clear on this day? I'm like, fucking no.
Right.
I'm gonna say yes right now.
Call Liz.
But let me go call Liz.
Right.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
so it's so true. And
I
mean,
did it with
can't-
my daughter's gymnastics. Like, she does gymnastics, and granted, she's 2, so
Right.
it is what it is. But like, we changed from like the summer session to the fall session.
Times
and
change.
the times changed. So
Yeah.
it used to be at 5:45. Now it's at 6:30.
Yeah.
So I got there at 5:45. I was like,
Yeah.
so it was fine. Like, we went and grabbed
Right.
something to eat. Like,
Right.
At least you weren't late.
yeah, it wasn't late.
At least you
I
didn't do what
was
Jay
super
did and like
early.
miss the whole game on the last game of the season.
My parents came to the game, so then I feel like a jackass in front of my parents. Like I
Yeah.
can't, whatever. But like, he cried and there were tears, but he handled it. Like, I'm thinking, if I'm his age, I would have been pissed, and he
Yeah.
handled it way better than
That's
I would
good.
have.
That's
but,
cool.
Hey,
but still,
speaks to you
like,
being a good dad then.
I mean, that is my biggest like organization and schedules and just anything organization wise is my weakness. Not only not a strength, a weakness. So like trying to keep everyone's schedule straight. And I think it's easier when one person just kind of takes it instead of both people trying to do it, at least for us. So
I agree.
was
I
just
agree.
like taking it on, and yeah.
For sure. That's
Yeah.
why I depend on my wife a lot.
Well, it's so crazy. Like I don't know how you guys are. Well, so you said Aaliyah's got. So she's a nurse practitioner. So does she work consistent 410s or something
She
like
works
that?
4/10 Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
pretty consistent.
Yeah. Yep.
So like my wife, government job,
Mm-hmm.
like she works 8 to 4, 8:30 to 4 or 8 to 4:30, I think it is, every day. Like,
Yep.
and that's it. Like,
Right.
like she doesn't have a podcast that she, goes out
Right.
and spends. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
she has her things that she likes to do, but really it's her schedule is always the same, and then she keeps the kids stuff.
Right.
To whereas me, like, I'm all over the place. Like with the business and everything else, like I don't know where I'm
Nothing's
like I
set.
cannot tell you where I will be Monday. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so it's really hard for me to schedule stuff.
Yeah.
And like I always feel bad because I'm trying to keep it all straight, and like we were talking about memory, like
Yeah.
I don't remember. Like I
glad I'm not
know
the
that I
only
told you I
one.
was supposed to do something on
Right.
Tuesday afternoon, but what was it?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't write it down, and I'm
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's those times too where your wife tells you something like, "Hey, remember, you need to be here at this time." Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
Right.
what time am I supposed to be there again? I got to get a hold of her real quick.
Well,
It's like,
dude,
wait,
like,
I mean, simple things. And I'm
Right.
like, shit, I forgot what she said already.
Here's one thing I know is on Thursday, I'm taking the girls to the airport because they're going out of town. I don't know what time. And I've asked like 17 times and she's told me.
Do I ask an 18?
Right. I mean, I'm going to have to.
Right.
Want me to ask for you?
Yeah.
Might soften the blow a little bit.
That'd be great.
I got you, man. I got you.
So Ilea goes to, she leaves early for work. So she typically leaves like 6:15 to 6:30. So a lot of times she's kind of my alarm clock to like get up. So as she's walking out the door, I'm literally half asleep in bed and she'll tell me to do something. And I'll respond. I'm awake.
Right,
I'll respond.
right.
But like if it's in that early morning where I'm waking up, 90% of the time, I completely forget. It's not even like, oh yeah, she told me. Like
It's
I don't
not
even
like an
remember.
ignoring thing.
I don't
Yeah,
even
it just didn't
remember.
happen.
She'll come home from work.
was I
Oh, did
dreaming?
you take this to the post office? Oh yeah, I forgot that. Like whoops.
Kinda forgot about that.
And I think it's just kind of set in with her. Like she's like, yep, I just know that's how he is, and I'm gonna have to let it be.
We all have our flaws.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's like I know at work, like, and I haven't done this with my wife yet. Well, maybe I should, although it's probably not effective. But like at work, like I'll have my top managers. They'll ask me for something, and I always feel like a jerk. But I'm like, send me an email.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh
if
yeah.
you send me an email,
Right.
like when I go and clear my emails out, like, oh,
Yep.
that's a reminder. I'll have to do it. And like at first, like I always thought that they looked at me like I was some jerk that like wasn't
listening
to
caring.
them. I'm like,
Right.
listen, I understand what you're saying. What I'm telling you is over the next 18 hours, that is not going to be on my mind,
Right.
and I don't want to forget it. So just send me an email and I'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't think I can tell my wife to do that,
Yeah.
but
Hey, babe, just
babe, sleep.
email me. Hey, can we have dinner tonight? Yeah, sure. Email
Yeah,
me.
email me. I'm trying to sleep here. I got 5 more minutes till my alarm goes off. Leave me alone.
Oh, man. You should try it though. Let me know.
Yeah, see how that goes.
Right.
I'll make sure I get a video, somebody to video that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Look at these guys. Hey,
Christ, I'm glad I didn't park there. Very glad I didn't park there.
oh man.
Yeah, I was telling Steve, I love watching his reactions to the people walking across because you can tell when it's
know.
just a friendly hello or people are just being ridiculous.
Right.
But those guys were just wasted right there.
Yeah. That is one cool thing about like this studio is just seeing like the people walking.
Curiosity
by.
of a lot of people.
Yeah,
too.
everyone's
Like,
like,
oh,
"What's
what the hell
that?"
is this place?
And it's
Right.
always those different. We've done a few during the week, and it's like way less way less
was gonna say-
chaotic. Oh yeah, on my search history on YouTube,
All the kids'
Peppa
cartoons.
Pig.
Daniel Tiger. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Awesome.
Oh, God. All right, so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
Steve.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No.
No, you.
Oh, what's this? My headphones don't work. So,
I'm in your way.
yeah, cool. All right. So, do you want to get to the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
God, I feel like he did a couple of
ready.
dad hacks.
Jay's
but anyway,
like, what the fuck you guys talking about?
all right, we have some syrup for
actually-
you.
Please don't bring up the syrup. I'm not chugging any syrup.
Oh no syrup. Yeah.
No,
That's
actually,
that's
seeing the cartoon up there reminded me of one of my dad hacks.
Oh,
So
look at you segueing.
yeah,
I like it.
So you know, I don't know how you guys are, but we don't. You know, when it comes to our kids watching TV on the weekends at night, they can watch a movie, and when they wake up, they can watch something. But at the same time, like I don't want my son watching, you know, whatever Beyblades or Ninja or
Right,
whatever
right.
show he's watching all the time. So what I've been doing in the mornings now, which is awesome because my kids love it and I love it, is putting on Planet Earth. So just like, you know, you guys know the show?
Yeah,
Earth?
absolutely.
It's great. They're like learning.
It's
It's visual. They love it. And we're like having conversations. And I don't feel like a piece of crap dad because I'm just
Right.
throwing them in
Throwing
front of
on TV,
cartoons.
yeah.
So
Oh, it's
like,
great. It's educational.
Yeah.
You know what the crazy thing is too? It's like you're seeing a lot of that stuff for the first time yourself. So you're like, you're learning stuff at
Right.
the same time. It's a
Right.
lot. It's amazing.
Some of the stuff on there is nuts.
Did you see the bird one? The one that's dancing. Like,
That is so.
I'm telling you, that is the most amazing
Have
thing.
you seen this?
No.
Oh,
my
my!
gosh.
We'll pull it up on YouTube.
It's mind blowing.
and we won't forget this time because it is unbelievable. Like
It's
he
like
clears
this
out a
bird-
space.
yeah. So he's doing like a mating dance to call the female in, and what this little bird, who's probably this big, does is nuts.
It's
funny, 'cause
incredible.
it's so awesome that you brought that up because I brought that. I probably saw that for the first time like I don't know a month and a half ago, and I've told so many people about it, and my wife's like, "You're seriously telling that bird story?"
Trust me, I did the same thing.
I'm feeling so
people
left
are
out right
people
now.
are like,
I cannot wait.
but it's funny. Like you're explaining to somebody, they're like,
Yeah,
"Cool, dude." Like
So
his
you're
eyes
watching
change
birds
colors.
mate?
Cool, man. He's like,
No, man, I'm intrigued.
you're a weirdo.
no, like you're not even gonna be prepared for this. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Right.
So
I like
that's
that,
a
though,
phenomenal dad
because-
hack, though.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
So I have like a weird
sorry, gotta give him the props.
Yeah.
man.
hack. So I think like the screen time thing and everything else, there's a lot of opinions, right? And I'm of the opinion that technology's not going anywhere, and I'm okay with incorporating that into
Right.
our kids. And not to say that
can't
it's
avoid
right or wrong, and
Right.
if you don't, that's fine. Like,
Right.
But you could
more
choose
power
what
to
you
right.
what,
You
what,
can,
what they
but
watch.
You're right. Like
Right.
I think that's a good way to incorporate it because there is a lot of times like my daughter right now, she's so into Peppa Pig. Like
Yeah.
I saw that.
and it's a cute show and
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah. We haven't
and
gotten into
they actually do have some good like maybe not like hard skill stuff, but like soft skill stuff like
Right.
like just being good people like
Yeah.
Yep.
caring and being positive and stuff like that. And so like I'm cool with it. It's not like a bad show or anything like that. Now like my son on the other hand, he wants to watch, the superhero stuff, which I love.
Right.
I'm super into and I'm can't wait for the day that we can like go to the theater and watch the new superhero movie that
Yeah.
comes out. That'd be great. But that's not something that I necessarily want him watching 24/7.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just constant
Can I-
stream of that. Please.
Tell you something you should have him watch.
Yeah.
He might be interested. I don't know. It's not exciting, but there's a show called Answer Bots on Netflix.
Okay.
What is it?
Answer Bots.
Answer bots.
So it's like these little robots, and they teach them. It's very educational, and like one Sam likes to watch is where rain comes from. So it explains evaporation, and it explains how it all works. But they make it like fun at the same time with these little cartoon robots,
Really?
or like where the water goes when you flush the toilet. It shows the whole process of how that works, and it's like
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Huh.
The one
But
thing.
it's still a cartoon show at the same time, like a fun little
Right.
show. So, yeah.
That's interesting. I like
it out.
that.
One thing is, as my two older boys have gotten older and they're starting to understand more and ask questions, I realize how little I know about a lot of stuff.
Isn't that humbling?
Oh my gosh. And either I don't know it or I just forgot it, but I'm like,
Right.
I don't know, bud. And it's like stuff I probably should know.
Well, that's
like
the thing that-
everything I learned in science class, I feel like it's just gone.
Chlorophyll, more like borophyll. I don't remember shit, dude. I don't remember anything. So you know what? It's that
was great.
It's funny too because I think I'm not looking forward to homework.
Oh, me neither.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, Dad, how do I do this math?
Well, in math now is like, I don't even know because we haven't really gotten into homework where they're bringing it home, but it's completely different than the way we learned it. I know
Right.
that much. But yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna have to
see
hire
these-
a tutor, buddy, because I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I want to teach you everything, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm terrified.
That's
of.
tough because you never want to just say, figure it out.
Right.
You want to be there to support and help, but
Right.
how are you? If I can't help, what are you supposed to do?
I
what
know.
I mean?
You know what
Like,
I'm gonna
we'll
do?
figure out the answer.
Like, hey, buddy, give me a little bit.
figure
I'm
it
gonna
out
go get a
together.
YouTube education real quick, like I
Right.
do with everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Certified by YouTube every
I just
time.
can't stop thinking about Borophyll. So
Okay,
good.
I'm
Like,
sorry.
Stevie
So-
is the king of movie quotes. I consider myself to be a movie quote connoisseur.
Oh, I'm so bad at it.
Oh, I love it. But
I
like
appreciate it,
he's
though.
the best.
Yeah, I
So
remember
the
dumb
one
shit.
from the one thing that I've noticed from watching podcasts that, well, your guys' podcast, one, I'm not a movie quote person, so I appreciate that because I don't remember anything from movies I watch.
Yeah.
But your ability to remember like the Indians games and Cavs, like some of your stories will start with like, oh yeah, we were watching Game 5, this happened and this happened. Like, how do you remember that?
I remember random things,
Yeah.
not
Oh my
important
God.
things,
But so many times you
random
pulled out
things.
games from like 10 years ago. Oh, we were hanging out there, this game,
Yeah.
this score. I'm like, how the hell does he remember that?
Well, we've
I mean, I
hung
don't
out
know.
a lot over the last 30
Forever.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what's
So-
funny though is like we're telling a story like about your house when we were little. Like we were talking to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
That we were watching not that story exactly, but I remember watching the All-Star game in your garage.
Oh yeah.
Playing video games in your garage. Like I remember like what we were doing, like stupid shit like that. Like, but I remember what game we were watching, like stuff like that. I get it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
But
it's
yeah,
kinda
you can't
crazy.
remember your kids' whatever event.
Yeah, exactly. But I can remember dumb stuff, like every lyric to a Nelly song or like a movie quote. That's so true. And I got to go back to the chlorophyll, borophyll thing. If somebody said that in my science class, I don't care if like nobody liked the kid. I would be crying laughing.
Be amazing.
I'd be laughing my ass off.
Be
Like,
amazing.
Like the reaction he got from all the kids in his class were like,
It's one of the best lines ever.
I would die of laughing. I would just be dead.
That's awesome. You know what's
So
funny
anyway.
about that movie? Actually, I was thinking about that movie today. So, Brian Perry was talking about how it's taken him like 3 nights now, where they were trying to watch the new Mission Impossible movie, and they just kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
And so there was like probably 10 years ago, I made a picture of Tom Cruise when I think it's the first Mission Impossible, where he's like hovering over, and I put Brian's face on it, and like
That's an old picture.
oh yeah.
I thought you made that today.
No, I
was supposed to be impressed. I was
like
impressed with you.
Scrolling back in my phone trying to find it, and I kept finding pictures of the same thing of me putting Arco's face on Bobby Boucher. And I was like looking at it, I'm getting distracted. I'm like, and like literally, by the way, I'm in the parking lot of Giant Eagle looking for this picture. Like Sloane's still asleep. I'm telling myself like, oh, I'm letting her get an extra little nap in, but really, I'm just wasting time trying to find this freaking picture that I made 10 years ago.
That's so good. I thought you did that on the spot. I'm like, that was amazing.
No.
Good work though.
Thank you.
That's impressive.
I have to say something really quick. Speaking of tonight and how we were talking about how we got pizza. I don't think we talked about that, but we met up for our Disney trip planning. So I was in charge of getting the pizza today. I had to get Jets pizza. Have you had Jets before?
Jets.
Okay.
Love it.
Good.
So Liz was not available tonight, so I had the kids by myself, and I had to get the pizza. I'm like, well, shit. I have to load them up in the car, drive down the road, take them out of the car.
Yeah, why did you be
And
in
then-
charge of that? That's terrible.
Because it was right by my house.
I know, but like we could have gotten somewhere else.
Well, I was going to say that, but I was pretty dead set on Jets.
I was gonna bring that up, but
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so now what I'm going to have to do is I have to take both the kids out, take them in there just to walk in, pay, and grab the pizza. So you know what? I'm like,
can we do a delivery to my
I'm like,
car in the parking lot?
literally. I called. I go, hey, man.
Oh, did they do it?
So I go, hey, I'm here.
Nice.
I'm like, I ordered a pizza to pick up. I'm like, is there any way I could pay over the phone with you right now, and then you could walk the pizza out to my car? I'm like, cause I don't want to take my kids out of the car, and I don't want to leave them in the car. He's like, yeah, no problem. He's like, so I give him the information. He goes, just let me know when you get here. I'm like, I'm in the first spot outside the door. He's like, no problem. He walked it out. I signed the receipt.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's
that
that's a dad hack.
That's
for sure.
100% a dad hack.
100%.
I love that so much.
It
Did
was
you know how many
awesome.
times like
That was really smart thinking.
Just in the parking lot, I'm like, I gotta take these guys out, and then put them back in 2 seconds later.
I know.
So
I've done it before. Like we'll get we like Cleveland pizza,
Yeah.
and but we are just outside the delivery radius,
yeah.
and like they'll actually deliver to Raj's house. And so one time we actually had them delivered to Raj's house, and like went over there.
So have it delivered to a friend's house.
Yeah. But like, there's so many
Raj,
times.
can you pick up the tip?
right. So, but like,
dad hack.
there's so many times where like it'll be like a Friday. I'll pick up the kids from daycare, and we'll stop over there, and like I'll call and be like, "All right, is it ready?" Because I've done it before where I brought both kids in there, and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be an extra."
That's
10
what I was afraid
minutes."
of too.
I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
dude. Like this is a 10x4 waiting area. Like
There's
these
nothing-
kids are not going to be contained.
It's
like
not gonna
it's not
last.
happening."
Yeah.
Yeah. Every Friday's Pizza Friday for
I
us.
love pizza.
Literally every Friday.
You know, I love that, and I want to start doing that. I told Liz, I'm like, we need to do this. We need to make nights.
Yeah. Like
So like, okay, like every Taco Tuesday, like that's a typical one, or like Spaghetti Wednesday, or like you know what I mean, just something.
so much easier
Movie
to plan.
Friday,
Right.
And then you don't forget.
but then you have, and then you get excited for that. You pick your favorite night. Like we used to have pizza night on Fridays when I was younger.
Yeah, I remember
And
that. We
love
did that too.
Yep.
Like you get a movie, you go get like, dude, remember Little Caesars pizza?
Yeah.
Dude, I was going to say
crazy bread.
we used to get the Bigfoot at Little Caesars.
Yeah, it's the Bigfoot. It was like in the paper
And it
tray.
was
You like
right
slide
by
it out.
Hollywood Video was
Yep, it
right
was
there.
right next
So
door.
you used to go order
Yeah.
the pizza, then you used to go to Hollywood Video, pick out the movies that you were going to rent and watch.
Yeah.
Dude,
And like it was amazing.
How awesome was going to the movie store.
And you had to like find the
You had to make sure that-
case
You
that
had to have a
like,
case, but
yeah.
the tape was behind
The
it.
tape
You're
was
like,
behind
please
it.
be there. Please be
Yeah.
one.
Like the good ones, there'd be like 30 of them, and like they'd all be gone.
Right.
Maybe
You're like,
one
you
was
go up and
left.
like, oh, come on. And you go up to the, did anybody bring one in?
Right.
Can you check, the, can you check the tape return?
It's
Guess
amazing.
we're heading over to Blockbuster.
We basically do that. So every Friday is Pizza Friday, and then we go to Redbox. And it's so funny because a movie's a movie, but just because it's a DVD from Redbox, it's like special to them. Whether it's a new movie from
You know what?
Netflix,
That's like very true though, because
they like
it's exciting.
love it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like almost every Friday we'll set the kids up, and then we'll go into another part of the house and watch whatever we want or hang out. And it is nice because we just kind of started doing that in the last year. It's like you don't have to think about anything. It's like
That's great. Yeah.
it's Pizza Friday.
Yeah.
But you know what? They'll remember that forever because I remember those.
Yeah,
nights.
I remember
Yeah.
that too. Like we always say we can't wait until they're a little bit older, which you never want time
Don't
to
wanna
go
skip
crazy.
forward. Yeah,
but
Right.
like I'm excited to like say pizza on Fridays and we play like a board game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you play board
So
games? with your kids, or-
we're getting into like Junior Monopoly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
things like that. I can't wait for regular Monopoly
Oh, yeah.
because Junior Monopoly happens like in like 15 minutes it's over.
Yeah.
But like the regular Monopoly
need the full
where you get
experience.
into it in 2
Yeah.
hours.
Here's the
and
thing,
you're
though.
battling for
It's amazing.
properties.
It's amazing.
You know what the thing is? Like so we used to play all the time when I was
Yeah.
younger, and it would like be like my brothers and I and like our friends. But my brother Chris is the ultimate instigator, and he really knows how to get under people's skin. Like he really knows how to get under your skin. I'm telling you, like
As every big brother does.
Yes.
Right.
so. I remember him. Like I tell you, there's countless times that I flipped that fucking board over and rage quit.
But that's the beauty of board game night.
Right,
You know,
right,
what I mean?
right.
Like, you want that shit to
exactly. Because
happen.
Chris would be like, I remember, like, I still remember what he would say too. Like, he would get something like, "I'm buying it." Like, he would like sing it, like as he's like rubbing it in my face. I'm like, fucking asshole, man.
It's so incredible.
And so that's what my son Ben is Chris Jr.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. I see
My
that.
son Ben is like Chris. Like he's.
I 100% see that.
You should see him today. You should have seen Ben at gymnastics today. Mom sitting like in the bleachers. Ben walks over, sits next to her, and he's just like looks at her. He's just smiling. He's got his little red hat on, and he's just smiling at her. She's like, "Hi," and he's like, and he does one of these little waves, and he's just still smiling at her. I'm like, this little kid, man. He's a little flirt. He did it the other day. Ben or Sam actually did this. Shy Sam. There's these two girls walking. We were getting our family pictures taken. So these two girls walk by, and they're like, oh, they're so cute, whatever. We're walking by them, and they're getting in their car, and Sam walks up in front of the car, and he's like, walks by, and he's like, he does a little wave, and he's just smiling at them, and they're like, oh, and he's just sitting in front of the car
Backnicks,
waving.
man.
I'm like, good job, boys.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got the
Backnick charm.
The Backnick charm. I love that.
See, still got it.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
On cue.
That was so good. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that because like I remember like before we had kids, me, you, and Chelsea and Liz would play like Clue. Like we'd always say
I
Clue.
never played.
So I never did before
yeah.
I started dating Liz, and
Oh, I loved Clue.
so
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Clue's not one
and then
I really know.
we do like every New Year's Eve
game
for the
night.
past like
Oh, that's cool.
been a
it's been
while.
a while.
Yeah, it's
like
been a while.
like
Yeah.
we ended the New Year's Eve like crazy party scene pretty early on.
Yeah.
And we
It's
just all
overrated.
hung out and we get some drinks and we play board games and
Yeah.
we typically play like Clue or we
And it's been cool too, because like we'll have like we'll sleep over their house. So
Right.
with the kids, we put them into bed,
yeah.
come downstairs
It's
and play
fun.
games and just drink and hang out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It
Like
is
I
fun.
like that we just started doing that however long ago. It's probably been 8 years, 9
Probably.
years, something like that.
Because
that
Witterman's
we've
always
done
been
that. Yeah.
Witterman always comes and hangs
Yeah,
out
he's
too.
always home for the holidays, so he comes and hangs out.
We played some fun games last year.
Yeah. The one year
That's
we did
fun.
the steak competition, then we made our own pizzas, and like it's a lot of fun. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Way better than doing the whole thing, I think.
Oh, for sure.
It's funny you say how your son's like your brother, because my oldest Jaden is like just like me.
Yeah.
And what drives me crazy about the stuff he does is like the same exact stuff I did as a kid, which is just
Yeah.
it's just funny how it all works. Because I mean,
Well, don't they say that's like your curse is
Right,
like, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's a spitting image of me.
Right.
So, which is cool.
It is cool, but then at the same time, you're like, oh,
right,
no.
Right. Like, I mean, he's just throwing balls all over the house, like nonstop, destroying our house, and like doesn't listen to a thing we say. And I'm like, well, that's exactly how I was.
That's what I did.
Right. That's what I get.
Exactly.
Yep.
I will say the one other dad hack I have with a 7 and a 9-year-old boys in the house, you know, we just moved into a new house and it's really open, so it's just the sound just carries, right? And especially in the winter when they can't get out, it is so freaking loud in the house. They're running around. So my mother-in-law bought a puzzle. I think it was just, I don't know if it's a Christmas present or whatever. It was right around Christmas time in the winter. She bought a puzzle and it was like 1,000 pieces. Mm-hmm. And it was just something we all worked on as a family. We had it on the dining room table always. Yeah. And it took us like 2 weeks to do. But we made a big deal about every time you found a piece because it's hard for a 9 and a 7-year-old to find. For sure. But we made a big deal out of it. And so and then we finished that puzzle. We'd frame it, put it in one of the kids' rooms, get another one. So for like, we haven't done it now that the weather's nice. But in the winter, we probably finished 4 puzzles. And so every day for like 20 or 30 minutes, the kids are sitting there quietly looking for these pieces. And it was like bliss. It was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome. So like when the kids get older, something
I love that so much. I can't wait for that. Yeah, that's great.
And it is fun because like it's kind of a competitive thing too. Like I got 5 pieces. How many did you get? Right. Yeah. And then it's like it is cool. Yeah.
Right. Well, and like all right, the early childhood educator in me is going to come out and say like, look, like puzzles are just so like the fine motor skills and like the cognition of like looking and seeing like pattern recognition and stuff. It's just amazing.
It is
like, way better than
Liz bought Sam 4 puzzles, and they're like ones that the United States. I'm sorry, it's a globe. It's a map, and so it's a world map is one of them. The one's fish. So like at first he had a tough time with it. Now he's like figuring out how to find the edges. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, I got to find all the blue pieces.
That's great.
He's like, then I got to find out the fish that matches this one. So it's great. So he does all 4 puzzles. He wants to do them all the time. Yeah. He's starting to get a little more confidence. At first he was like, Dad, he wanted me to help with everything. So now he's starting to get like, do it himself, which is awesome to watch. Right. So like, yeah, like you said, like that's a good thing for like fine motor skills and all that. And just, and the satisfaction of how excited he is.
Builds confidence because like wait, I understand why this works now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's great.
So,
because that's the thing that drives me nuts is when there's just loudness going on. That's when I lose my shit. And I remember my mom always saying, I can't hear myself think. And there's just times in the day when the kids are just going crazy. So like to have something that they can go to at least for a little bit and be quiet, it's amazing.
Well, and like that's you said, true. Like where we live, like winter is it's brutal. That's when you feel that more, right? Because they're not getting outside.
Winter sucks. And that's actually talking about like moving. Like every winter, we're like, my wife and I will kind of jokingly, we would probably never ever move, but at least
you kind of think about it sometimes.
But like every year, right? Every year we think about it, and I mean, winter does suck. The kids can't get out of the house. Yeah. It's cold.
If I hear one person complain about it being too hot, I'm like, really?
I complain about it being too hot.
I do too, but I just know how much I hate winter.
I love winter. I really do. But I like going outside in winter too. Like I like bundling up and going
do,
but
stuff. It's not as easy because
it's not.
Okay, it's you know what? Bundling up is fun until you have to be dress up 3 kids.
To be fair,
get them out of the house.
Get them out of the house and then bring them in.
To be fair, like since having kids, like that is lessened.
You know what's worse is getting them back in the house and then dealing with all the wet clothes.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then the whole layers, like you can't really put them in a car seat with a winter jacket on. So like, what do you do with that? You're putting them on. You're taking off. You're putting them on. Like it's a nightmare.
You're right.
That kind of stuff is very obnoxious. No, when I was without kids, winter was.
Yeah, let's go sledding. Let's go drink beers.
I would go. I love snowboarding. I love like getting out and doing that. I always said, if you live here, get a hobby.
Right.
You know, so I love snowboarding. It's phenomenal, but like right now, I can't really take the kids. I could, I guess. I've seen like 2-year-olds snowboarding, but whatever. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, I hate snow.
Long story short.
But I will say this about the last couple of years: I've used the snowblower a total of 3 times in the last 2 years.
It's bad.
It's been cold, but there's no snow.
But there hasn't been a ton of snow.
Like we get like I actually kind of like love when we get a big snowstorm.
Right.
I do. You know what I mean? Like
especially around Christmas. I want snow.
We won't have snow around Christmas I mean, we haven't had it in the last however many years.
Right.
I think it's like a climatic shift or something. Like there's some type of shift that where like winter doesn't really start till after, like
later.
in January.
It's just, it starts like if you're lucky, like
You're gonna get snow in
mid-December,
January.
but like you're not getting enough of it until
Dude, you know what
January,
sucks is like
February,
I don't know
March.
what your yard's like. You have a lot of trees in your backyard. I don't know if you have to deal with the leaves so much. I think it blows away.
It's great. They just
Yeah.
blow right
Do you have a lot of
away.
leaves?
No.
I have so my neighbor's tree is this enormous,
Dude, yeah, your yard's the worst.
and it hangs over my yard. I get
Excuse me, sir,
95%.
these are yours.
So I have a fence too, so it's just like in my yard. Those leaves don't fall now until
Right. And
I don't know, the end of November,
yep.
And then it just snows.
and it
so
just snows on top of
compacted
it. So
down.
oh my god! So I have
Oh,
you have a small
grass.
window to get it cleaned up,
Yeah.
and it just sucks. And you know, dude, do you remember when we were younger, like playing in leaves? It was like 60 degrees.
Playing
Like it was
football in a
like you
pile
playing
of
out.
leaves.
You know, it was like
Right.
it was like in October, right? I mean,
Right,
like you were
yeah.
outside playing in the leaves, or like 40 degrees probably, or 50, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I want my son is always like, I want to go out there and play. I want to play in the leaves. I'm like, it's 20 degrees now, so we're not
Yeah,
going out in
we're
the
not going
leaves.
out there,
Right.
So yeah, that's what kind of sucks. But
It's funny because growing up in Cleveland, you know, we got a lot of snow, right? You're in
Yeah.
the snow belt. In Columbus, I mean, it's only 2.5 hours or 2 hours south, whatever it is. We get significantly less snow.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah.
But they're horrible at snow removal. So literally, if it's like more than 3 inches of snow that they're calling for, people
shut
are
down.
going to the store to get bread and milk. Like the world's coming to an end.
so
and then
funny.
and inevitably always like it's a dusting and like nothing happens.
Well, that's-
but
Right.
It's wild.
But it's funny though, because
wild.
our meteorologists, our news
Right.
people go crazy because there's like a snowstorm coming.
Yeah.
So same thing here too. It's like people go and clean out the stores. They're freaking out. I'm like, even if we do get this storm, we've done it. You live here. You know how to get through it.
Right.
It happens
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
I always laugh at my parents. Like, so they've been in Phoenix now for, I think like 6 or 7 years.
yeah.
And when they first got out there, whenever it would rain, that's what people would do. They would go buy bottled water
Because of rain?
because of rain.
It's the water's coming down.
Yeah, but they don't know.
Right.
Like no. People what is this? Like, from
I'm gonna go buy some. Wait,
It's a desert, man. Like they
yeah.
don't get it. Like
Right.
well, they can't leave the house. Like there's rain. You know what I mean? So, but my parents would like make fun of them for like a few years.
And now they've
it was like last year or something like that. I was like, well, what are you guys doing? I'm like, well, I got to go get some, bread and stuff like that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, there's rains coming over the weekend or whatever. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
I'm like,
Like
you grew up in
rain-
Northeast Ohio.
It rains for the whole month of April
Right.
and May
It's
and
funny
June.
how that switches though, because I know a handful of guys I went to college with, or some of the guys we grew up with that live out in Arizona now, and now they moved out there, and after a couple of years, 50 degrees is freezing.
Oh,
for
yeah.
them. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
yeah,
So
weird.
true.
yeah.
All right. So, getting off of weather.
Because I could go on about weather all day.
Literally.
No
I
one
could.
cares about the weather.
I actually love the weather.
I do too, except for the fact that they all freak out. Like our meteorologists freak out about stuff and get people all crazy, and then nothing happens.
It's the best job ever. I don't know why I never did that.
You could be wrong every
you
day.
go on the weather app, look what it is,
Yeah.
and then you go on screen and
You know what I would
Yeah.
do? If
Can't be that
I'm going to start a weather channel, I'll be like, here's the deal.
I don't fucking know.
It might rain today. It might be sunny.
Right.
It's going to be anywhere from 50 to 80. Good luck.
Yeah. Amazing.
Good luck.
Just watch the sky. You'll find out.
Accurate weather forecast.
Yep.
I feel informed.
Starting that.
Did you go to school for that? You're a meteorologist?
Yeah, dude. I'm better than
I
all of
actually
them.
took a meteorology course in college. Did
Just
you guys
wanna-
ever take one?
No.
It's amazing. It's the best course ever.
What did they tell you that this is a
No,
take
it
this
was
job
actually-
because you could be wrong every day and keep your
still
job?
be
It was actually difficult. Like you had to learn some shit about weather pattern, whatever. But it was a good course.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Yeah.
what I wanted to transition to was some good proud dad moments. And
Yeah.
again, and I know that you listen to the show and stuff like that, but I really like to focus on not only what are you proud of your kids for,
Yeah.
but what are you proud of yourself for? Because I think that's a really good
Ooh.
thing to. I want to start doing more of that
Right.
Okay.
because I think that's super important.
So for my kids, they're at that age where they just want to get the other one in trouble so they look better. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just going on
Oh, I know
all
what
the
that is,
time.
yeah.
And they parent each other. So, like, I'll be, parenting, disciplining, whatever you want to call it, one of them, and the other one chimes in. And I'm like, you're not the parent. Be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, what? But then there's a moments where they just, like, really, truly care for each other and take care of each other. So what they started doing, I don't know how this started. So in the mornings, I'm getting them ready, and usually one of them's always in a funk, and I'm trying to get out of it. But what they started doing is having picnics in the kitchen, and they've got like their blanket, and they put the blanket down, and they sit down, and they have breakfast together, and they like love each other. And this doesn't, don't get me wrong, this happens like twice a week maybe, but when it happens, I'm like, this is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like they put so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
And then the one other thing, and especially with the two boys, right? Because they're close in age,
Right.
And they just butt heads all the time.
Yeah.
But not too long ago, so our neighbors that we butt up against, they have a pretty big backyard, so they're like way back there. But they always go back there and play with the girls that live back there. And the one day, I sent a text to the parent over there, hey, can you send the boys home? So then I'm watching out the window as they're coming home, and Jude, I don't know what Jude, I think Jude was like tying his shoe or something. He was on the ground, and Jaden helped him like get up, and then they walked like arm in arm back together. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, they at least love each other to some extent.
And like no one's watching. They don't know that anyone's watching.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not a, it's not a
I was
show.
up in
It's
our
not a show.
bedroom.
Genuine moment.
Right.
Like,
I was just up in our
cool.
bedroom watching them, and I was like, this is awesome. I think the harder question is like what you're proud of yourself in.
Well, I think it's a good like.
No, it's great.
Force yourself to really think, because again, we focus a lot of times on what we could have done better.
Right. 100%.
And I think that's good.
100%.
I think that's okay.
It's good, but you can't focus on it too
But
much.
if you take a little bit of time, even if it's
Yeah.
once every in a blue moon, that you step back and think like, hey, I did a good job on this. Like I think that's important.
Yeah.
So.
I will say Jaden's trying out for this basketball team, and one of the things the coach said is the 5 minutes after the game that they get in the car or they come to you is whatever you guys are talking about is so important. If you're talking about how, and really his point was like if you're criticizing the coaching or the umping or whatever, the reffing, you're gonna have kids that are uncoachable. So like be really cognizant of the conversations you're having with your kids. So I think just like the conversations after, whether it's a sporting event or right before bed, just like really taking time to be present and just like really talking to them, whatever's going on in their life. Like I do think I do a good job of, before they go to bed, laying in bed with each one of them for a while and just talking to them, because it's not always easy to find that time. So I guess if you had to pinpoint me to,
That's good.
It's hard.
No,
Hey,
that's good.
That's something to be proud of right there. Because I
Right.
mean, to take that time and to be conscious of what you're doing and making sure you take that time.
Yeah.
Because like we said, life is hectic.
Right.
Well,
even
we're
like-
always looking forward to trying to do something else.
Right.
So
Yeah, and even just when we were just trying to find 10 minutes is hard for each kid, because each kid, that's 30 minutes in the day. That's hard, but like it doesn't have to be 10 minutes, but whatever it is, like just,
Right.
you know,
I like
being
that a lot.
present. And so I if I would say
Well, and good
that's
on you
one
too,
thing.
because like I know in the early childhood education world, what we always say is like there's three, like what we say is 3 5-minute windows that are really important to children. It's the 5 minutes when they wake up, the 5 minutes before they go to bed, and then the 5 minutes right after school. So, and the one that we always try and focus on is the one that's after school. So when you pick your kid up, like a lot of parents will complain that like, hey, I asked them what they did at school today and they said nothing, or they said that I didn't do anything, or something like that. Well, the reality is like if you ask them that in the first 5 minutes, like they just got out, like give them a little bit of time,
Take it
like,
all in.
talk about something else, like give them some space. And then later on in the evening, like, hey, what happened at school today, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, or like sometimes like you'll know that something happened that you need to talk about, and like you're going to want to immediately address it.
Right.
But give them like a little bit of a buffer. So I think it's good that like you said, like the 10 minutes before bed and like right when they wake up or whatever, like that's good.
Yeah. No, I saw it. I think it was my first grade teacher who I'm like friends with on Facebook. She posted that, the 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
When they wake up, before they go to bed, and when they get home from school. And that's really stuck with me, because I work from home. My kids get off the bus at 3:45. I still have like another hour or so of work, but I I try to. I don't always, but I try to like, all right, put my phone down, put the computer down, ask them about their day, and like, so I saw that and it really stuck with me because 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
right.
it's
Give 'em
5
some
minutes.
It's 5 minutes.
Right,
Right. That's
right.
nothing.
Right,
That's
like-
nothing.
right.
You know?
So-
To them, it's everything.
Yeah.
5 minutes is nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we, the book that James gave us, that little book. So there was one of the quotes we took from it. It's like, after school, talk to your kids about their day and listen. Like,
Yeah.
really,
Right,
so like,
and
I really
the
took that
point
one.
is
Yeah.
and listen.
And
right,
listen to
right.
what they're saying and actually have that conversation with them. So
Right. I feel like
I make
you
it a
could
point to do that.
Yeah.
Like, to have a full conversation. With
Yeah,
them when I'm
but
leaving.
again, I think, and like, you know, the point is to listen, but also like maybe don't
Jump right into
grill
what's-
them about like what happened during your day.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what
for
I mean?
sure.
Like they need
That makes a
like,
lot of sense.
A few minutes to
Yeah.
like talk to them about something else. Talk to them
Right.
about,
I usually
like,
tell them
hey-
what we're gonna do, like what we're doing.
Right. I think that's a really good
I say,
one.
how
yeah.
was your day? I don't say like, I try not to, 'cause
What'd
like
you
you said, like
do
it's
or
yeah,
whatever.
because I mean it's a whole day of being there and being in school. It's like I want to talk about something else. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what friends were at school today? Like,
Right,
you know what I mean? Like
right.
something like that. I'm not like what, but I'm like, well, we're gonna go to the park. Or we're gonna go do this. We're gonna go see your cousin. We're gonna go see this person. Try to just get them hyped up about something else that's
Right.
going on, and
Yeah.
It's good.
so I try to do. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like,
It's good.
or I just turn the music up really loud and just zone out.
Oh, don't you love that when they're like, one of them's like freaking out in the back, and you're like, I'm just gonna turn this music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dad, as they're screaming.
Although
you're like,
we pretty much
Done it. It's happened.
see, it's hard because I pretty much only listen to podcasts with my kids.
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what-
So
Interesting.
there's a one that we really like. It's called But Why.
Okay.
And so it's actually Vermont Public Radio, and kids will record themselves asking questions.
Okay.
And it'll be like, why do the leaves fall off trees?
Yeah.
And like,
All
but,
that stuff
but
I know.
why? Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea.
But
They
why
die.
does water freeze? Or but why? And it's always supposed to be but why.
Right.
And so then they'll come on and they'll have like experts talk about it, but they do it in a good way that's for kids. And
Right.
it's probably a little bit old for my kids.
Yeah.
But like Gibbs always asks, but do the but why about boogers or whatever, like
Yeah.
something that he's excited about.
Right,
and they're like
right.
10 or 15 minute like
Yeah.
short episodes, and like it's pretty good.
I feel like if you like, you said you might the podcast might be a little bit old for 'em. I feel like if you err on the side of like them being whatever it is, your discussions, whatever you're supposed, if you err on the side of a little bit older, you can't really go wrong. Right. You know,
Even
what I
if it
mean?
goes over their head, they're
Right.
getting exposed to it,
Right.
and then like,
But they're taking it in though.
right.
Right.
'Cause, I mean,
100%.
you'll say stuff at home that you think went way over their heads,
Yep.
but then they'll repeat it,
Right. And
or
you're
say
like,
something about
"Oh,
it, like, oh wow,
you understood that."
you got that,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah,
took
right.
that all in. Wow, okay,
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
So,
there's the
but
whole,
why?
like,
It's a pretty
them-
good.
Then there's all like them repeating what you say.
Oh
type stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a whole nother
they do.
thing.
Yeah.
We've had some
guilty of
interesting
that.
things.
You know, my favorite thing of all time is I was in the parking lot and I was putting Sam in his seat, and he started screaming, "Stop it! You're hurting me!" He was screaming it though, like at the top of his lungs. I'm like, "I'm not hurting you. I'm putting your seatbelt on." Like,
worst thing they could say, right? One of the worst things.
yeah, I'm not. I'm not doing that. This guy I work with was telling me in Target, his daughter was screaming, "Help me!" because he was trying to get her into the. He was trying to do something. I forgot, like trying to get her to leave or get into the cart or something, and she just starts screaming, "Help me!"
Oh, that's amazing.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Stop!" I'm like, I'm her dad. Relax.
Right.
Like,
So
yeah. So those are those times.
It's terrifying.
yeah, we had a family member living with us, and I shouldn't say it was his fault because I don't think I've ever said this word around my kids before, but we go to preschool like parent teacher conference. So I think Jaden was like 4.5. I think he was like 4.5 or 5. This is ridiculous. And we're meeting with the teacher. Jaden's doing great, yada, yada, yada. We go through the whole thing. And they're like, yeah, he's doing great. But he called so-and-so a B word. And we're like, oh, what B word are you talking about? And they said the B word. And we're like, and he said it that day. Literally the day of parent teacher.
course.
And we're like, what? I just start laughing. And my wife is like horrified. And we're like, well, how did it come out? So they do, you'll appreciate this. So at the daycare, they do the family style
Yeah.
lunch, right?
Yeah.
So they're all
Yeah.
serving each other. And the rule was, and my son loves fruit, right? So the rule is you have to have one serving of fruit.
Yep.
Everyone has to be served.
Yep.
There has to be extra, and then you go for more. So, but Jaden just took 2 scoops of the peaches, and this little girl calls him out, and he said, "You're being such a," and I'm like,
Amazing.
and I shouldn't even say it was the family member that was living with us, but I don't think I've sworn for sure in front of him. I don't think I've ever said that, but I was like, oh my God, he used it correctly.
Right.
Like,
right.
they used it in the right context.
That's the
It's like
thing.
that's
when they
when
put
it's-
it in context.
And he said
you're
it
like,
the day of parent-teacher conference, and we just walked out, and we were just like shaking our heads. We're like, oh my God, really? Seriously?
let me guess. You were like, listen, bitch. Like,
Listen, bitch, my son would never say that.
Right. Oh, God.
We would never fucking swear around him. I swear.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Ever.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
they
nuts, though. Yeah,
mimic
yeah.
what they see.
Yeah, they do.
What's the, I just heard something. And the essence of what I heard that really stuck with me was, it's not what you tell them, it's what you show them.
It's what you show 'em,
Right.
yeah,
So it's
right.
like, and when I heard that, I was like, there's a lot of things I should probably stop showing them.
but again,
For sure.
But
Right.
again, like, if you're doing 80%
Right.
of the way,
Right.
like, kudos.
We're doing all right.
Pat yourself on the back
Right.
because
If
like
you're
this shit
conscious
is
of
tough.
it, conscious
Yeah.
of it, what you're doing,
know.
and we're like,
Yep.
you know what we're doing wrong. We
And the
realize
reality
it.
is, like, think about like you also don't want your kid to be, you know, a 14-year-old and hearing like
For the first time.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
there's some healthy exposure to
Right.
it. Like, not that you want to like purposefully put it out there, but if
it's
it
okay.
happens, it's okay.
Right. There's a dad on Jaden's baseball team that I've gotten kind of close to, and we were talking during one of the last baseball games. He said, I think the more taboo you make something, the more they want to do
100%.
it. And it's like, yeah, you don't want them to do it, but if you go out of your way to make it taboo, then they're going to want to do it more. So, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
Very cool.
hey, we could go all night.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's how it goes.
So, one of the things that we always like to do is give our guests an opportunity to shout something out or
Yeah.
like shout somebody out or whatever it is. So, if you have something that you want to do, like you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Obviously something that's near and dear to our family's heart is adoption. And like when
I was hoping you were going to go that way.
Yeah, and even when we got married, like I didn't think it was going to be as amazing as it was in our lives. So like we've got connected with parents who have just kind of been on the fence or like had questions. So I would just say like if there's anyone out there that's thinking about it and they just have questions or just want to know like what the experience is like, what the process is like my wife and I are always
That's amazing.
happy to just
That's awesome.
jump on the phone and catch up with people and tell them our experience. So that would be my shout out.
That's
That's
really
great.
cool. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to say this before actually, but the very first things that we talked about was like why adoption.
Yeah.
And like I think it's amazing that like and it's interesting how things work, but it's amazing that you guys were doing it because it was something that was important to you.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't necessarily because you couldn't have kids or because that's like one of the reasons that you would adopt, right?
Right.
Like, and then
Right.
like to find that out afterwards that it was difficult or whatever, like I think it just shows like the kind of people you guys
Yeah,
are.
for sure.
Which is amazing. Like there are so many children out there that need positive influences and to go out of country and like take these children in.
It's
Pretty
amazing.
freaking amazing.
It is.
Like,
Yeah, and people make comments like that, and it's not just like the canned remark, like, but they are 100% the blessing to us. Like, it's not like we're doing all, like, they
Fair.
are 100%
Yes.
the
Fair.
blessing to us. So, yeah.
I can see that.
It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
I can see that.
It's
so
been awesome.
But I just think it's really cool. And then for them to go the step further and be like, hey, if anyone's thinking about it. Like,
Yeah, and to come to
let
ask
us
you
know.
questions, to have any type of support or to help them move forward to do that, to take the step to adopt. To meet someone who's been there, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, that could go.
I mean,
with
that's the
anything.
same thing that we're
Right.
trying to do.
Exactly,
100%,
and
You know,
for sure.
like, just
You
for
guys-
dads,
To have any type
like,
of support is amazing because, like, to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through something, without anybody, without any guidance or anybody to relate to, it's very difficult. So,
Yeah.
I mean, That's awesome. So obviously you guys are open to help people, and that's
So it's all about, man.
what yeah. No, for
Love
sure. And we love that, man. That's a great.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And
100%.
you're obviously a phenomenal father. You're
Man.
passionate. You're a passionate
You
father.
are, man. No, that's
seriously,
cool.
no,
Like-
honestly.
like,
Because
dude, it's,
you could tell if someone's like being as passionate about being a parent or a father.
if
Like,
you're
it's-
working at it,
Right.
I mean,
Hey, we're all doing all right. Right.
I feel like,
We're
you know
not
what,
screwing up our kids too
and you know what the
much.
thing is too is this also helps me sometimes when I sit down and talk to somebody and I'm like, you know what, all right, we are doing a pretty good job.
And that's why I love your guys' podcast, because I'm like, someone else going through what I'm going through.
that's awesome. I love
100%.
that.
That's what it's all about, man. That's why we're doing it.
Cool.
Very
So
cool.
happy to
All right.
have you on, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This has been amazing. Again, something that we've been talking about for a while doing, and here we are, and we did it.
We did it.
That's right. We'll have to do it
Hopefully,
again.
we will
Yes,
see you
we can.
tomorrow
Yeah.
at the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be there.
And until then, if you haven't already, please make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google.
All your favorite podcasts.
I think that's all of it.
There's a podcast
But
out
no,
there.
find us, share it, let people know what we're doing, and let us know how we're doing so that we can continue trying to spread our message.
Yes. So
For now, for Steve, I'm Ian. Jay, thank you
Absolutely.
very much for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
absolutely.
Episode 23 is a wrap.
In the
and
books.
We will see you next time. Thank you.
Hey guys, if you like what you just heard or watched, please don't be shy. Give us a like, subscribe, follow us on our social media pages, and drop us some comments, literally, about anything. Your support means the world to us and legit keeps us going. And most of all, thank you for all of your support.